Good evening. Welcome to a meeting of the Darien Architectural Review Board. Today is Tuesday, November 18th. It is 7 p.m. We have a full agenda tonight, so I'm going to be as concise as possible, like always, but even more so. Let me introduce who we have here tonight with us. We have Rebecca Morrison taking notes, David Humphrey, Alex Lopatinsky, Christina Hart, Kate Poselli, and Dave Riley. Going right into it. New business, we are going to see BMW at 136 Ledge Road. This is application ARB 45, 2025. Are they not here? Really? Okay. So they lost their place in line and they might have to come in December. Okay, next up. Great, see, we're moving along quickly, like I told you. Yes, next item. It's Doe Sherry Chocolate, 878 Boston Post Road. This is ARB number 47, 2025. Also in the system, it's PL 25180.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. All right, it's in there. Hi, I'm Kevin with Hungwell Signs, and tonight a new chocolate store is going in. With a simple sign over the front door and a blade sign. Nothing. Pretty simple whiteboard with a. We want to do a little dimension with the lettering and the with the border. It'll be chocolate. I can get you the actual Pantone color, but it'll be a dark brown.
Kevin, you know
Pretty
that this
simple.
board doesn't approve anything without samples, so this is going to be tough.
I know. I did bring
Chocolate
up.
samples.
Yes, yeah, right.
No, sorry, I don't.
Milk chocolate?
Is it milk chocolate or dark chocolate?
Milk
I mean,
chocolate.
that makes a difference.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Again, like a dimensional whiteboard with a raised logo and chocolate.
And are the letters raised too?
Yeah, everything will be raised. Yeah.
Question is, does it melt in the sun?
Yes. It's in the shade.
The color is, sorry, you're good.
Oh, non-illuminated, there's.
Not
I didn't
illuminated.
see lights.
Yeah. Yep.
Can you go back to the other one?
They actually had awnings here before. They finally took all the awnings
That
down.
looks so much better.
Yeah.
The building looks great. They
Yeah.
did a good, I think they repainted it
It's
too.
right next to Heights
Yes.
Pizza Fusion.
Do you
Yeah.
guys, the only, I guess, there's two ways to look at that, like, right, like, there's, he centered it over that total space, but there's that stupid,
There's a sign.
no, the partition right there.
Yeah,
Mm.
the mullion.
Yeah, mullion right there, so it's like, which one should it be centered over?
You want to center it over the whole.
I kind of feel like
Right.
it should be
Yeah.
centered over the mullion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those two windows. those
Yeah,
two
and
windows.
then- yep.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like back
Although it looks like it's centered
It's-
on
there's
the
no-
brick,
there's-
on the
yeah,
brick.
There's no good,
really.
there's no good,
Solution.
It's very strong.
Right.
I think you'll notice the brick course more than the.
I think
The
maybe
windows.
maybe back in the old days they actually put signs on those.
I would
It
think
looks like
so.
they were.
yeah.
It's like
Specific.
leftover
Since no one
blue
else has
here.
done it.
But she
So
thought
do
that
we
was.
know what the neighbors?
I was just gonna pull it up.
There's actually going to be
Dave Humphrey, where are you on
a
that?
florist moving
You
in.
always have the neighbor's image pulled up.
What's
No,
the
it's
address?
Too early in the
What's
meeting
address?
for me to.
878 Boston Post Road.
So there's a florist going right to the left. I guess I don't know whether they moved out or moving back in.
It's a new flower cycle of the
Right. And then I think 2 doors down is Heights Pizza.
So,
The one time when we come here.
okay.
Um,
One second, Kevin, I think David Humphrey's pulling up just the street view for us. Just to double check that no one else is in that sign band. I don't think they are though. I feel like I
No.
go by there and everyone is like,
They're not, but I don't know if I
Wait,
have
so
a
this is,
picture of that.
these were the awnings, so the
Oh.
names were on the awnings.
Can I just say one thing
Right,
though?
so now, I don't know what the the other tenants are doing.
It's not centered on that brick course either.
It's slightly offset.
It's like offset too.
It's
So
that,
it's
that
like-
brick.
Oh, the
But it
brick
should-
course
that-
is not centered on the
Right.
window.
Like
Yeah,
this.
So
yeah.
it's like you
yeah.
And then
can't, you can't use that as the way to
It'd be like
decide.
further back.
Respect yourself a little bit.
Actually, you may be pretty close to center if you move this over the center of Moyne. Because it's going to move that way, which
No, but you
No,
can,
still
so
won't.
these two tenants over here are off center from the brick relief.
so we can't use it in place.
Right,
So-
the other two tenants are, so it's a little funky, so this, I think centering it.
Yeah, I did notice that
Center.
no one else is
Yeah.
using
Yeah.
those for
That's what I
signs.
would do.
Yep.
Okay,
Just center over the aluminum frame.
Mhm.
yep.
What's the story with the beautiful air conditioning and the condensing line here? They're not doing anything about that.
No, not that I know of.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Really can talk.
And you need the airflow, you can't like cover it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm,
it's a shame.
I know.
She tried to be, she couldn't make it, she's out of town tonight.
So, and you said the letters and the logo are gonna be chocolate brown?
Yeah.
And the edge?
She wanted the black, just to break it up a little bit, maybe a black frame around it to match the,
A bracket.
Cool.
you like the brown?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm cool with that.
I assume all the other spaces are gonna get a similar sign on the facade, right? What about the two spaces that have a diagonal recess? I mean, that's not gonna be centered, able to be centered over the mullion, or it's not gonna make as much sense to center that over the mullion, so.
Well, you don't know if the header is straight across.
That's the one next to it, so we're gonna center over this one to here, but it's not gonna make as much sense there. So if you picture a future, I assume before.
Someone make an executive call. Rebecca, you started it.
Sorry.
No, it's great, it's a good catch.
I don't know, it's hard to say, cause I can't, I can, looking at his view and it has the.
Really helps to see the context of the other stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if I have a.
So, wonder how often.
Hey,
Sure.
Kevin,
I
can we
sure have a
prove, can we
picture.
prove as is and say with the suggestion to go to the mullions and send us a picture tomorrow to Hervé of the larger whole site?
I will,
And he can send, if we have a change of opinion, we will send it to Hervé to communicate with you.
I will. I
Okay.
actually I don't wanna dig it up now, but I think I have one on the
Oh.
phone, so, yeah, so.
Okay, okay. If you, sitting in the
Yeah.
audience, or maybe you, even before you leave, you can circle back to it,
Okay.
if that's the case.
I did take a big shot
Does
of
that
it.
sound good, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you send it to my email, I've actually access to Outlook tonight, so
Nice,
that's a big plus today.
look at that.
So I can actually open it when you email it
Okay.
to me.
All right,
Alright,
nice. Okay, so favorable report, just with that one
Okay.
confirmation.
okay, great.
All right, next up, we have Frame Bridge at 1060 Boston Post Road. So we're getting into Corbin District, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna see 4 Corbin District signs all together.
You got
The
it.
first one is, I'm just gonna front load this so people know. First one is Frame Bridge, then we've got Millie's Restaurant, then we've got the Toy Box, then we've got Gorjana. Gorjana, sorry, I had to butcher that. Sorry about that. These are ARBs 40, 41, 42, and 43, 2025.
This one will be big.
And I'm gonna ask you, you guys can maybe just introduce yourself once to cover all 4 of those applications.
Lisa Elwell from Baywater.
I was gonna cut it today.
No, that's good.
Kevin with Hungwell Signs.
And Kate Perez with Baywater.
So Framebridge. With Framebridge, we're trying to almost copy exactly if you've been to Roots in town. We made like a low profile raceway to keep it as low profile as possible. Roots did the same thing. Only because there's steel behind it, we can't, because each letter has an individual wire going through it, so we want to propose, but just this one, perfect. You won't see it, it'll be blended right in with the color of the building, but that was the only real solution to getting the electric through the wall because of the steel.
So the raceway is the 130-inch dimension?
Yeah.
And then, okay.
What's the depth of it?
The depth of the letter would be 1 inch.
No,
I'm sorry. Oh, the actual,
Yeah, panels.
we're gonna keep it with, hopefully, we can keep it with under an inch.
Oh,
So,
okay, so you won't go through
yeah, it'll be, because we don't want to really put a raceway there, but and just a simple halo lit letter, 3000K.
You got it down.
I got it
it's
down,
not
yeah.
important, right?
Right?
Design.
We don't even have to ask anymore, you just
I know,
say
I
it.
know.
It's amazing.
Exactly.
So the raceway's created to mount the letters.
Yes.
Correct.
There'll be two, one on each corner. It's one's on Corbin, the other's on Post Road.
But the raceway also will hold your electric, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So There, A Papa John's gonna leave a line for me. They're
Oh.
just one line, so I'll connect it to that one line into the building, and then
So
we're all
there's
set.
there's two signs,
Right, one on, it's right on the corner of Corbin and, Post Road.
So
Thank you, Van.
It's
this,
right
yeah,
there.
this side and this side.
Okay.
This is
And
kind
then-
of,
So
Okay.
It's the corner piece.
corner.
Wow.
And no blade sign?
Yes.
Yeah,
There is a blade
blade
sign. Yeah, there is, okay.
Two, actually.
Okay,
Do
on
you
each,
have it on
on each.
So there's
On
yes,
each-
one
yeah.
on
They're
each
right-
corner, or is
Yep.
there one on the inside?
Oh, they're
I
both
think it's
away.
only one on the,
oh,
if
They
you
look
flip
like
down,
they may
if
be
you go down here.
There it
Ah.
is.
yeah, what's it,
Okay. So at the end,
Yep.
away from the corner of the street, that's the corner.
So point it out on the plan then,
I try to point with the map.
So it's,
yeah, but it's
So
just,
one
it
blade
helps
sign,
it's sort of on this
there
side
and, yeah,
and
then
on
of
this
course.
side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And they're non-illuminated.
not eliminated. No.
They are illuminated, no, they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah,
yes, we're doing what we did
They look
on,
a little
Face-
illuminated.
yes.
Do you
they-
guys have a precedent for those lights on other blade
Yes.
signs? Okay. I don't
That's a great
remember.
question.
I don't remember
Phase
the.
one.
They were presented
On phase
first.
one, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
and I
remember
think
that.
Pliables might have it too,
Bible says it.
that fixture.
This is, it's gonna be exactly what we did for, the stores on Corbin.
And to kind of give some background there, Corbin presented a sign plan to us 5 years ago and pitched doing blade signs, a cohesive thing to it, so we approved lit blade signs for only the Corbin district, or everywhere else in town we say no, but they put together a presentation where it made sense for this pedestrian friendly kind of like village they were trying to create, so that is.
But not all the blade signs have those types of lights, it's just, right?
Actually, they.
Yes.
A lot of them do.
Yeah.
I thought I saw one of the.
Even the existing ones are exactly the same, they'll just two.
Oh, really?
I thought, I could be messing it up, but I thought one of the four that you're going,
You'll see
doesn't
that.
have it, one doesn't.
one doesn't, right.
Gorjana doesn't.
Yes.
They have
Right.
kind of their own bracket and like blade sign approach, so they don't have what we're using as a standard bracket
Okay.
and no lighting on it.
Oh, so I thought it was illuminated, it's not illuminated?
The facade is, but not the blade
Not the
sign.
Not the
blade,
blade,
right, sorry to mess things up.
No, it's a good question, like,
Yeah, you'll see that, that's, I mean, so you'll see.
I think
it's
that's
a
nice.
great catch. Okay,
So it's,
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty much done here.
and no window claim? Okay.
No,
Do I need to put a standard note in all the letters to you guys, it says like, if your client should choose to do window claim in the future, 10% is the number, do you guys need that stated?
no, it's
Is it
just
worthwhile?
10% of the window.
10% of the window
Yeah,
coverage.
Right,
Is that worthwhile, do you
no, I
guys
know
need to make
that,
sure?
I can
Okay.
tell that,
Yeah.
let's
It's
see.
in the regs, we can tell,
Okay.
and I feel like there's.
This is so refreshing, a developer who reads
Yeah.
the regs. We're so excited to have you here.
I've read those so many times.
It's in your nightmares. Okay. All good?
yeah.
All right, the next one is,
So favorable report.
Millie's,
Favorable
Favorable
report as presented.
as presented. Thanks, Hervé.
Millie's.
Yep. Is Millie's in there? Who's got it?
State for the record, all these applications are pulling up, Molly's pointing out, they're all the same building, right?
Building,
And you're calling
yes.
it building one?
This is building B, so it's on the corner of Post Road and Corbin Drive. So we just looked at that corner. Millie's has this frontage, this along the
Yeah.
pedestrian way and
Yeah,
facing the
this is-
plaza, so they're kind of like, they have a big
You
space.
see the
Right.
time clock.
Awning.
Okay.
Which
Yeah,
one is
that's
it?
This is the Millie's space.
So
They
it's-
actually
I did it like 5 different
like
times.
here. Yeah.
Post road.
You
Post
can see it
Road
here,
and
too.
Pedestrian way.
If this
Yeah.
helps. This one is kind of clear.
Those are very helpful for the,
See,
Is
the
that cool?
corner.
oh,
I
wow.
didn't do that.
Look at that.
I'm struggling with the fact that.
Candy.
That
That one.
applied
Yeah.
it in different ways.
We have eye candy.
That's the
Okay.
whole project.
Wow, that's,
Isn't that cool?
I've never seen
Very nice.
I know.
Okay, so let's see. So this is like kind of a nice recap of everything.
Yeah, I think we have, we put up, there we go.
And then.
That's the beginning of Melly's, right?
So where's
And then go
That's
down.
the beginning of Millie's?
Yeah, I think we have it all.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
this is their existing.
Yeah, so we just wanted to show you kind of what they do in Nantucket and DC.
Seriously?
So is it painted quarter board?
Yes.
Right. We're gonna, I think we're proposing a carved sign.
Yep,
Um,
there you go.
So right there.
So there'll be
It's all to scale.
three, correct?
Yes.
Three of the wall.
Yep. Along the lines like I did for the toy box, that kind of material and just carved.
Is that the brick?
Carved with gold leaf. Kevin?
This will be just white. They
White.
just want to go white.
Yep.
And actually, did I bring that sign up? Or, no, we'll talk about the
Three
others.
signs? Three signs?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
wait, summarize that again, Kevin, sorry, I'm getting,
For the,
what are you presenting, what's going on, what is it?
Oh, I have a sample actually. I ordered a sample for the awning,
Did you leave it on your chair?
possibly.
So
So there
So
are
we have
awnings.
3 identical wall signs that go here, here, and here.
Okay,
Entrance, entrance, entrance. They do have 3 entrances on all sides.
This is the
Um,
color of
yeah.
that sign.
The one other special thing they wanna do is in this recess, they have like an ice cream takeout window. Lisa has an image of their, I think their Nantucket equivalent, where it's like
Kevin?
an operable window where they serve ice cream. And they wanted to put an awning over that, so that's the fabric for their awning, and we have, in elevation, you can
It
see
should
it like
be.
the bottom left.
Oh, yeah.
That's the 2 bays where they wanna have 2 awnings, with this like
Sure.
takeout, ice cream window.
The awning, here you go.
and copy on the awning as well.
There you go.
Millie's Takeout.
So what do you think about that?
Can we, it's hard to tell exactly where it
I like the idea of the awning, it's a lot of,
is. If it's-
can't they do the window frame from that?
yeah, it's one open.
Do you guys support
There's
Millie, any sort of signage there though?
Now I'm gonna,
Is
I'm
it
gonna ask
only,
our
I would assume that
code
the takeout, is the
expert.
takeout year round or is the takeout only in the summer months?
As far as we
Oh,
know,
good
it's year
question.
round,
Right.
but,
It's ice cream, is it?
yes, I believe so. And then what, you can do take out. Dinners if you wanted to.
window pane.
So they kind of knew that maybe the takeout wouldn't be something that would,
Yeah.
but they wanted to present it and get your feedback and see if you'd be open to it.
I think that gets into like the signage and it not being ornate.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Right.
But,
I mean, like,
But can't you do window
You have
frames
them.
to say?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
I think that would be
They
the,
all.
but do you still say
Can we-
Millie's?
That's what I'm
on the
wondering.
awning? I mean,
So how,
Millie's
so how would
too
Millie's
bright.
on the awning
That's
be
why
and
it's
then
kinda
take out on
zoom in to see
the,
that brick patch.
Does that get into,
Just because
too
it was
many-
decoration
But it's
was-
still-
I mean, you have the 3 walls
I'll
signs
bring it
and
up.
then you
Yeah,
have,
Bring it up.
what have we done with
Yeah, yeah,
awnings
yeah. So that
previously
it's
where
not
they
neat.
have the repetition of the business name on the awning? Has
I
that
think
generally
we-
been favorable?
It counts as a sign.
Counts as a
It
sign.
counts as a sign,
Yeah,
wall
so that's
sign.
like 2 additional signs.
Do they have a
Do
cool
they need
logo?
it to, do they need it to say Millie's takeout,
We
even
don't
if
have
it's
a
a
logo.
claim? Do they need that? I mean,
I think
from a,
they
like
want
a
to draw attention to like people know where to pick up or,
directional.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
just way
So
guided,
then-
yeah.
I mean, wouldn't takeout be obvious enough? I mean, I guess my question is there the contiguous space of the takeout and the entrance along that elevation, would people sense that that's all one retailer from the storefront windows?
Or could it be another, could you move the blade sign and put the
What is this
takeout?
facing? What's
Post
this?
road.
Post road.
Post
Post
road.
road.
That's the post road?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Blade sign.
So that's the deep, and that's inside pedestrian space.
I think it would be too big for one awning, because even like Seymour's, I think the biggest one I do is 14 feet.
I don't mind.
That was huge.
I think the problem is, it's so many millies,
Yeah.
right? So, like, it's what, all three of these guys suggested a blade sign instead over
Oh.
there.
And a plain awning with no
Yeah,
writing.
I wonder if you could bring in like the star or something for Millie's on the edge of the awning, or something that like kind of tied it back in
Yeah,
inside.
yeah, that would,
Yeah, I like
that would
that,
be a
yeah.
good,
I
yeah,
like that.
tie-in.
So
Like
that's-
two, like one on.
Like a star at each end, yeah, or like
Yeah.
two of them, so you,
Give it a little something.
yeah, so you
Yeah.
connect it without,
Yeah,
Yeah.
without the
Branding.
words, yeah.
Because you wouldn't just put takeout. That's cheesy too.
you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, right.
Gosh,
Reject it.
rule with iron fist here, no.
Gone, reject it. All right, I think they'll probably go with that.
So then would we be
Star
relocating the post road blade sign over
to
to
the
that?
other side.
So where are the, yeah, can you show us where those blade signs are?
Because we would be adding a third, right? We'd be moving one of them, is that what you're?
Show us on a plan where they're currently proposed,
Blade sign is like right at the corner.
the other corner.
Right, so right now, one of them
Right here.
is here,
Yeah.
Kevin, right here.
and the other
We're showing you the
one
blade sign right there.
is here.
Oh, okay.
But I think
But
we're
if you
talking
moved
about
it to
moving
there-
this one here.
Yeah. I wouldn't add a blade sign, but I think, Kate, you're right, just moving it to the other end.
Yeah, so it kind
Yeah,
of ties
yeah,
that together.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
Then if it's the stars on the drop in the awning, would that still have the border perhaps? I mean, it's just lacking the,
Yeah, the
The
quarter round
text.
borders,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
that's-
it seems, it's just, otherwise it's just two stars kind of
Yeah,
floating out
no, I
there.
think
So
the border
having
with
that,
the
yeah,
stars.
contained within the border.
It's
I
just
could
a-
So it's
send-
just basically you're
lettering.
dropping the
It's a
text
no
from the.
lettering.
Yeah, I can send you drawings if you want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, we could just month that up.
Star with
For
border.
sure.
Okay.
That's a
Um,
PDF coming.
So all of our wall signs are at 16'6" to the top of the sign, and regulations require them to be at 15 feet to top of the sign. So these signs are high. The only issue we may run into lowering them is there's like a soldier brick course up here or whatever. Oh, goodness, there's three.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to.
And we don't wanna squish that or overlap with it, but, I'm not sure what the answer is. Like, we can play around to see how much lower we can get it.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to make it, like, to make it look crowded on the
Yeah.
top of the,
You know, from far away, it doesn't feel so bad in context to the
Yeah.
entire elevation, but as a pedestrian, it may
might
feel.
feel high, yeah.
It sounds like you have support as presented, but
We
when
can
you guys
try to
get there
like,
and realize that it's crowded and you want, or it's too high.
yeah. we
So
can
I
try
think
to
when
see
you're
what
actually
we
mounting the sign to,
Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
hold it right there,
Alright,
Kevin.
hold it
Yeah.
there. All right.
Kevin, those signs, I'm sorry, what material are the signs?
It's a foam, high density foam board.
Okay, if you can carve out of that?
Yeah.
But that's why I was surprised,
Yeah, I
yes.
did it
Okay.
for, Toy Box as well.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
like, oh,
It's got-
okay.
They don't really use
It
wood,
doesn't-
you
yeah, it
can't
doesn't
really
look-
get that wood anymore because it's hard to get and you don't wanna cut trees down for it. So
Okay,
everything's high density foam board now.
and it's painted?
Yeah, once you paint it, you
Okay.
can't even tell.
Okay. And is that the wall, is the blade sign the same material, same idea?
No, I think this is, do I have it down here for,
Oh, that's-
cause we're not gonna carve this one, I don't believe. Aluminum, yeah.
So that's just a flat sign?
It's gonna be, yeah, it'll be raised letters and
Oh, raised
SARS
letters.
and
Okay.
dimensional flat cut aluminum.
Okay.
I like
Give
how
it-
you guys curved it.
Give it some dimension.
That's cute.
It's almost like Wee Modine a little bit. You've seen that one?
Oh, yeah.
So, and the last question, the wall signs are not illuminated?
Right.
Right.
Nothing, no, there's no light on the building either, on them?
There are wall sconces,
I saw that,
But those
that's
are
it though?
lower. Yeah.
lower, yeah.
Because this is like a restaurant, this is actually one you would argue for a lit sign, but,
I
I'm
feel like
surprised.
I don't know what they have at Nantucket or DC.
They didn't look like they were.
They're not lit.
They look like they're just downstairs.
Yeah, and they have the kind of like washed blade sign with light, but they didn't ask for it.
okay. Let us know if you,
Okay.
okay. So favorable report with that, guys, you okay? With new PDF submitted, Hervé, they're gonna send a new PDF that demonstrates the change of the blade sign being moved slightly and the
Location and the
new
awnings.
awning,
Okay,
copy.
got it.
Oh, wait, and actually, Kate, you have one question about how the takeaway doors, the takeout doors work.
Oh, yeah, where's the access for the,
The elevation,
based on the elevation?
it's not accurate, we have to update the elevation, cause right now, the takeout window isn't shown correctly, it's shown as like another storefront bay. But we have to bring this up with a piece of trim, and we're working with the different kind of glass manufacturers to get like the operable piece in. So these two bays don't look totally accurate. We will have a door, but we have to get that elevation updated because it's gonna have more trim and more like an operable piece.
That's only the right bay that would have the.
Yes, it's one of these bays. I think it's this bay. And yeah, we just have to get that back from shop drawings with our storefront guy.
So if you wanted to do a window cling, one of the bays is fixed? That's fixed.
Yes, yeah. There is enough glass, I think, to do a window cling if they like wanted to in the future, but we can always bring that back. Or if it's 10% under, do
Yeah,
we need
10%
to
under,
bring
yeah.
that back? Okay.
I mean, that would be exhausting for you guys to come back here every time.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, because that might be something we
There's
can
liberties
chat with
there.
them about, of like,
Yes.
you can do a window cling
Yes.
that shows whatever we do
Yeah.
there, yeah.
Okay.
One comment on the blade sign, I mean, I like the shape of it, but 5 inches seems small to be 15 feet up in the air.
Yeah, good call.
The wall sign.
The
Blade-
The
blade
blade
sign.
sign.
Blade sign.
Well, the blades are not 15 up in the air. Are they?
Well, I see what you're saying.
They're
It's
pretty
kind
high,
of, it was, I think it's probably, I designed it a
They're
while
11.
ago,
They're
but I think
11.
maybe to scale, I think maybe that's what, the reason I did 5.
You
I
put
don't
it
know, if
above
it's
the
the
top
shape
of the
of-
window.
Because the shape, if I
Yeah.
might have, I see what you're saying
Yeah,
there.
They
you
could
cut
be-
it below and see how that looks.
They could be working with the transom of the window.
Yeah, but aren't there sconces right there too? The-
There are, we
Just
have
below.
some
yeah.
jockeying to do with the sconces to make sure we're not like hitting them with blade signs.
Yeah. I mean,
the
ideally you'd want
sconces
them where
are-
the sconces are,
That's where the sconce is.
So you can see them.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want the sconces to be higher either.
Mhm.
When you guys figure that out, when you send the final PDF, will you let us know what you agree on? Is it the board supports if you wanna go a larger blade side, right? The normal 10 inches, or whatever, double that, right? Mr. Humphrey?
Yeah, but then
Like
that
that.
makes it
But
that
then-
much longer.
Right, there's the
That's
proportion.
the only, yeah,
proportional.
proportionally, that's why I got stuck at the,
I think the 5-inch height isn't a bad one, it's just where it's mounted on the elevation, right?
Mhm.
it'll be visible, so I think 5, even at 5 inches, you'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
At 30 inches, I mean, 30 inches isn't small.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Okay. Okay,
All right, I'll look for that PDF.
so it's favorable report with the PDF.
Yes.
I'll give you a letter.
We'll do
Okay,
that.
on to the toy box, number 3 of 4.
I know I have your presentation.
Yeah.
Put it out.
Toy box, we're simply just taking the existing signs and bringing them
Across the street.
Or move
across the
it.
street, basically.
So since we approved them before,
Yeah,
this is.
and they were great.
Just one
Yeah.
location.
Yeah.
Any
I think I
changes
have
to
it on the,
illumination?
do I have it on the drawing? Just this one.
It'll be the same, the facade is not lit and the blade sign will have the bracket lighting.
I have no idea why I placed it where
Okay.
it is, but.
Thanks, Lisa.
Sure.
Where is it here? Not.
I'm wondering if I
that's
just,
the middle
I may
window.
have,
Centered over that.
yeah, I don't know. I guess there, hopefully there must be a window.
There
here.
is a window there,
Maybe
like
that's
the
why I just,
facade,
maybe I just.
there's
Yeah,
a
you know.
facade that projects in front of it, so like
That's the only reason it looks off-centered, I guess.
this is actually interior space, so it's projecting in front of the last bay. So you probably have it on center, it's just a bay is hidden.
Oh,
Yep, yeah.
same signs again, that's all.
Okay. This is great, favorable report
All right,
there.
let's go.
Let's keep moving.
Let's go. I think
Last
there's,
on here, more signs.
what time is it? It's like,
Don't go there, we'll look at that, don't jinx us. We got a long night.
Jesus, all right.
So this is Georgiana Jewelry Store. So that they're all over the area, so their corporate sign sent these to us to present.
From what it looks, it just, I think Halo
Letters.
lit.
Yep,
Yep.
letters, individual letters.
Individual letters. Yeah, it's just like that.
So where's
And where
does
we
it go
have the?
there?
Do we have a location on that? I think it
was.
was for coastal was gonna be, right?
Right
I
now,
don't know that we
Ah,
have
it's
that.
you don't have that facade on this board.
It's
It's-
a
but they
post
have-
road
yeah.
facing
It's
facade.
there,
Yeah.
David, it's there, David, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really hard to read, it's right, the little.
Yeah, with all the-
It's gonna be right next to Millie's.
Right, so this is Millie's that we looked at. This is
Ah.
Framebridge, so it's right next to
Post road.
Millie's. Yeah.
So then on the plan, though, just to reiterate where that is.
It's on the post road.
On Post Road,
Next to
Millie's
Millie's.
is-
Right here.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
You get to see.
How do you guys feel about that sign being illuminated and the other one's not?
I kinda like the variation,
Yeah.
quite honestly. Yeah.
So it's
I
pretty,
think that
pretty
makes sense
muted
now.
down.
It's more organic.
And then the height on that, that's 15.3.
Well, that's the same 15.3 and then change, that has to do with what's
I
happening
think because
below.
that facade is also kind of standalone, that,
And the letters are just individual,
yeah,
they're not.
that doesn't really
Yeah.
bother me.
I mean, I wish there was, is there another view showing this with the whole building or no? That's it?
No, this was, unfortunately, we didn't prepare it, so we didn't have the
It's high.
Well, it's as high as
ability to do it kind
Yeah,
of
that's
with
pretty
our.
much as I can zoom in, but you could, yeah, you get to see it here.
It's as high as the Millie's sign.
It's hard to see. There's no back.
Yeah, it could be lower.
Also has to be high
Yeah.
enough that the crown molding
So
doesn't
it's-
hide it when you
Yeah.
close,
Area,
you know,
right,
this is
it's-
gonna stick out.
It's to the left of the takeout area.
Yeah. That's what they want to see with the takeout area looks like.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Kevin,
That's
do you,
closer.
what's the size of the sign again, one more time, the wall sign?
The wall sign,
Dimensions
I'm gonna
of
go
the-
back, it's gonna be zoomed in big time, but let's see.
Oh.
I'm just gonna have to go back, yeah.
Oh, right here.
There, okay,
There you
that's
go.
1'4", 16 inches on the logo, but only a little less than 10 on the letters.
Not gonna
Except
be
for the
that,
G and J.
Up and 15 feet in
yeah,
the
they're
air.
not gonna be
Like-
that obvious.
Yeah, so it looks small in the building, it looks,
But it's kind of weird because when you get to that, from where you're going to be viewing it from, it's literally just across the street, so it's not, you're going to be able to see it fairly well. It's not like you have to see it, I don't think it has to be too big.
I think that the record shows the first time the ARB's asking for bigger and you're saying smaller. This is shocking, this conversation is now flipped.
So I think if you go back to the elevation and you look at the proportion of it to the section of the elevation, it looks a little small, but it doesn't look too small. Could it be a little bit bigger? Maybe, but
Do you think they scaled it to the storefront size? We didn't draw this one.
oh, so you're not sure if it's just.
Yeah, they drew it, but I was just wondering whether they kept it within the
I
third.
think it's to scale.
Maybe.
Yeah, they were pretty
That might be,
particular with it.
I'm sure they wouldn't mind going
It
larger.
looks a little boutique in its.
I like it, it just looks high.
It kind of actually looks like a Muy Mondin, like there's
Yeah.
on the
Yes,
other side,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
has like a feel of that.
Yeah.
I think it will look chic with those letters
I don't
on the
mind
dark
it. I'm
Okay,
okay with this.
fur.
okay.
I think it'll also stand out more when, like in real life, when it's pin letters set off the facade, because like there's no shadow now, but the taupe, like in this rendering, the taupe and like
Yeah.
brush will kind of blend in.
Across the street.
I think the rendering has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Can you, and Kirby, can you pull up the blade sign?
Yeah.
That's-
Is that like a shiplap siding on that? or-
It is Hardy.
Yep.
I don't know the profile.
Okay.
I think it might be like a Clapboard profile on that one.
Hmm.
There you go.
There you go.
You know, what does that say? Kevin, can you read that?
The
the overall dimensions of the circle, this
Oh, it's
Twenty-
kind of weird, it just says,
circumference of the.
11-inch letters.
Diameter.
it almost looks like, because they only did the lettering, maybe 2 feet.
22 inches?
No, there's
22.
22.
22.
That dimension.
Plus
Yeah.
4, so 26 out.
Oh,
Okay.
So that's, there's no illumination, right? I mean,
No, it's
there's-
internally lit.
Is it internally?
I thought I read that it was.
Well, that's typically no.
Yeah,
I mean,
Because the letters
asking.
will glow, right?
What?
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, that's why you brought it before.
they probably didn't know that.
Right? Didn't it?
That looks
Yeah,
like a
look, I
lit
mean,
sign.
Look
Yeah,
at the, look at the.
yeah, even the
no,
UL
diagram
section-
shows the
The
wiring.
diagram has the
Yeah.
wiring.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, so that brings up an interesting question, like, do you guys like the variety, or do you want consistency of one element?
Right.
Right.
I think there's argument
Yeah,
either
either
way.
way.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes with the
Okay.
wall signs, so
Mhm.
doing the brand works.
Okay, so you're getting approval for the
Mhm. Let's get it.
eternally lit blade sign.
No-
That'd be
Yeah,
the-
we're pro variety, but it's your call on the lighting, you know?
I think the
But
variety.
what's the alternate? I mean, is there any way to do that as a halo? But,
You'd have
That
to do,
would-
you'd almost have to do a push through. like,
yeah, yeah, and would that work on blade sign? I guess,
What
as
does
long as
it
you have
look-
the.
What does it look like during the day? Is it still illuminated to see the white, or is it gonna become a darker?
It'll be a
letter?
white acrylic, so,
Is that really
you'll see
gonna
it.
be still
Yeah.
white?
You know, I think if we're being true to what the regs are as far as illuminated letters, the push through would be
The right,
the right choice.
yeah.
And it would still be illuminated, the letters would still stand out, I think it would still have the intent.
I think it'll look nicer without push through, but,
Without.
Yeah, I know,
but I totally agree.
yeah,
I maybe have a lower profile push through, like, not, like usually I'll come out 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch, maybe. Not so deep.
Okay.
So how shallow can you go?
1/2 inch maybe would be, I think that'll work, because you want a little play between the sign face and the, so basically, you cut out a 1/2 inch piece of white acrylic
mhm,
and stick it, you cut out the shape on the metal.
Yeah,
On the inside of the metal, you put a backing on it, and then you stick the cut out white acrylic to that, so it doesn't fall in the hole.
Right.
And then it just comes out that much off the surface of the,
And so does it look like edge lighting? Or is that no lighting? I don't know what a push out is.
no, so then what you do after that, you put an opaque white on the
Yeah.
face of it.
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So it doesn't glow through it, and it just
Yeah.
comes out the
Okay.
edges.
It's just
Yeah.
like the
Okay.
halo.
All right, to keep this from face.
And so to your point, Dave, then it's in,
It's more consistent.
like consistent to what we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea. Are you guys all okay with that? Recommending it? Push through, okay.
Because one of the signs at Darien Commons I noticed actually is illuminated. That's a visit there at night, I was walking the dog. the other
Alright.
day.
Sweet green?
Let's circle back on
One
what
of
that
them,
is.
yeah, I'll have to take a picture of it.
But
next
Let's
time.
there's
make that.
one where they perforated the green one, the green letters are perforated, so
Yeah.
that at night you don't see the
I'm looking
green
at you,
letter.
is
You
that
see the light. Somebody was very smart.
Yeah, it
That's-
seems like something snuck
Wasn't me.
through.
And what did they do?
It wasn't me.
We'll find out who that is, we're gonna
It's
beat that guy
hung- It's
up.
hung very well, that's all I'm gonna say.
Turn the camera off.
So are we giving this a favorable report as long as the blade signs change?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can, you ask them to send a new PDF?
Yes.
Yep.
That
With just
shows,
the specs.
Reflecting that,
yes.
Yeah.
yes.
The specs will change.
Okay, perfect. So that's 4 favorable reports with 2 PDFs coming in. I believe PDF for that, for.
Lily's.
And
Lily's.
And Millie's, yeah. I was just making sure that we didn't have a PDF for, the first one, for Frame Bridge.
Cambridge is
No,
for
that was good.
report.
Okay, that's it. Okay, great.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's it.
Nice job. Very nice presentation. All right, we are now on our final item of new business for the evening. Still 2 more to go. This is our final new business. ARB number 4625. It's Weburn Country Club at 410 Hollow Tree Ridge Road.
So BMW people have not shown up?
I've not seen BMW, so I think they can come in December. That's a good catch.
I think you gotta drop, all right, you got
Watercolor.
balancing out
Or
there.
do, that's a, next.
We used to do render, we do it all the time.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I mean, it's,
that makes it look.
it looks hand painted. Yeah, smart. For this, for a class at the country club, I was sold. Great.
That's a heavy bag.
Hey, I'm gonna put this on the table, I feel like I might break it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
We appreciate the commitment bringing that in. There you go.
That's why I brought that,
Yeah.
Thank you for the time tonight. My name is David Butcher, Nick Kasarian with me. We're here in,
How do you spell that?
the first one is weird. It's
David Butcher.
Boettcher.
Next one.
Nick, I need your help.
Nick Kasarian, K-A-Y, S.
K-A-Y.
E-R,
S-E-R.
I-A-N.
You ever watch Seinfeld? George Costanza always tries to spell everybody's name. It was a bit back in the day, but he would have been stumped on that.
Yeah, right.
I just didn't see that coming.
Yeah, these are tough last names.
Yeah.
We're here on behalf of Weburn Country Club to present the proposed renovation to the rear terraces. This project is actually majority an interior renovation to the grill room and the bar adjacent it. But part of the program requirements for the bar was to create a better indoor-outdoor connection between the spaces. Just real quickly, this is the proposed and that's the existing. So what we propose to do is on this existing exterior wall that's got a bunch of windows in it, we're proposing to replace them with big nano-wall style folding doors that open up out to the terrace. The other part of doing that is this terrace that runs around the existing club is down a couple steps, and to kind of further influence this indoor-outdoor experience, we want to raise that terrace up to the same level as all the spaces on the interior. That helps with this indoor-outdoor experience, and it also helps with an accessibility issue they have currently. If you're in a wheelchair or have difficulty going up and down stairs, the only way down to this terrace is this little ramp on the back corner of the ballroom. If we raise this upper terrace all the way up, you can come and go out of any one of these doors to the main terrace. So as part of influencing this indoor-outdoor experience, the other thing we're proposing to do is add a covered terrace, a covered porch over this terrace and over the ballroom. Right now there's awnings that hang over these spaces, so what we're thinking is add a hard roof over these two spaces. We can put fans under there, heaters, speakers, and just helps extend those shoulder seasons for enjoyment out on the porch. From there, down in this middle section of terrace, we're recreating that with just new hardscape. We're putting new paving on all of these terraces. And down here in this middle section, we're adding an outdoor bar, which is going to be this like pretty pergola trellis structure with just a little outdoor bar space off of it. And to do that, we're taking out this existing stair, adding a half circle here, and then creating circulation around either side to go down to the bottom terrace. The bottom terrace is staying pretty much as it's designed, just replacing the hardscape and fixing some of the site walls around that. And then the last piece of this whole puzzle is there's a lot of hardscape out here, and we're trying to soften that up by bringing in landscape. So if you see in the existing terrace, there's really not a lot of greenery here. At each one of the elevation changes between these different terraces, we're trying to add some green space to break it up and soften up the building. And so all of that is easier to understand in this 3D rendering. This is the existing conditions. So here you can see the awnings over the existing building here and here. We're proposing to create this hard roof structure that plays to the architecture of the front portico share and all of the connectors that go over to the pro shop. So really just trying to keep it in like kind of the Mediterranean style architecture. We get a little sense of that wood trellis structure over the bar. We're hoping to grow some nice growies over top of it and just create this soft canopy over the space. And then here you can see that lower terrace, which is gonna stay similar to this. Couple samples, the roof tiles, we're just trying to match what's existing. The pergola structure is gonna be Alaskan yellow cedar, and we're just gonna let it gray out and go soft and disappear into the landscape. The tiles throughout is a granite for the stairs, and then a porcelain that looks just like it for the field stone. And then the color of everything is just to match the existing building. And the railings that we need for the stairs and the ADA ramps are gonna be wrought iron. And that's it.
So
I think we
some more
have,
views
yeah,
here.
we have a bunch of different views of the whole thing.
So if I go back to the start, this
Yeah,
is the one
so
you
that's-
saw.
that's the
This is one that's
existing.
on the board,
Right.
the other side.
So currently if you go back to this one, I think you can see the terrace is, it's actually built on soft ground, everything's uneven and not very safe.
We should have our
Uh,
annual meeting there, once it's complete.
So just simplifying everything, creating these nice spaces, giving people with accessibility issues the ability to get onto this main terrace. We've got an ADA ramp down the side so you can get to this lower terrace, and then it connects back to the golf cart path up around the corner here. I love this image because it really shows how we're trying to pull all the landscape in and just soften up the hardscape on the building. Here you can see that trellis over the outdoor bar.
So you're saying I guess that's an ash granite or something.
Yeah.
The granite is for the steps, and then there's a porcelain tile.
It's an identical match to that we're using for the field
Okay.
of everything. This we can just
I
get it
guess-
in a much thicker.
I mean, I really don't have any problem with, I think it's very well executed. I guess my only question would be is like, with the lower terrace, is there any thought of varying the paver material or the palette or anything like that? Because it's all this one consistent paver, which is existing, I
Right,
understand.
Right,
but,
right.
Again, that's just purely,
Sure.
just conjecture as far as.
We're a fan of the consistency throughout all of them. I think, like especially in this image, here's that lower terrace. With the addition of all of this landscape around, kind of breaking up each one of those, it feels, in my opinion, feels much nicer than what's currently there with all of the landscape.
Okay. No, I'm fine with that, I
Sure.
just posed that question.
Yeah, no, thank
It's a
you.
good thought. I like that thought.
Here you get a glimpse of these roofs. We're gonna do a cypress stained wood that emulates like a Edison Meisner type architecture for all of these outdoor spaces, and they'll have fans and heaters and all that in it.
What kind of lighting? I guess that's one thing that I'm not seeing here is,
We've got a bunch of
There's a lighting.
specs. Yeah, there's a lighting plan, and we provided the specs for each one of the lights, but there's recessed lights in the ceiling of this space. There's currently these T lights that they just put in a pole in the center of the pavilion. We've designed them to kind of tie to corners that make sense across the space. And then there's little step lighting, and there's lighting down the ramps. All built into the risers of the steps and the walls.
How are you draining the flat roofs?
There are scuppers out of the roof. In fact, you can kind of see in here to these little collection boxes and copper downspouts going down to the civil. We'll do the same over here, but I don't see any in the render. So same idea, it'd just be a couple scuppers where we determine.
David, do you have a watercolorist, or is this a
I can't tell you
digital
my,
platform?
can't tell you my secrets.
Your answer says it all, then, my friend.
I wish that I could watercolor that well.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing software.
Yeah.
I mean,
it really is.
it fooled me. I'll say
It's a
that.
software?
It fooled me.
It's not a software.
Yeah.
It's a software?
There are rendering engines that can do that.
Oh, you kidding me? It's not, it looks like a shaler. I mean, Tom,
Yeah, yeah. No,
except you charge it a lot of money. but it's-
it's all on the computer now.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Good and
I used
bad.
to do it by hand. I mean,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I went to school for.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Favorable report. You're good, it's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we really
Appreciate
appreciate
the
it.
time.
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
So
Where are
then
you
we-
guys, where are you two based out of, right?
We're in South Norwalk.
You're in South Norwalk?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, our office is right around the corner.
that's good. Okay.
So you're gonna
Come see
use
us.
the favorable report from the ARB to file your building permit.
That's right.
And that's gonna go from there. So once you get that, it's like one step, and then the next step is you go into the building permit and
Okay,
I'm the one to
awesome. Thank you.
same, one-stop shop.
All right.
So, we still don't have BMW.
No.
Okay. More people show up.
overall car.
Okay, so we are moving on to our final agenda for the evening. This is ARB number 32, 2025. This is Heights Corner at 90 Heights Road. This is our third time seeing this presentation, back-to-back months.
Look at that. This is your knees, not
Hook on my laptop here, sit
Hook it up over there.
We have our own cord, so.
So you hook it up over there. The USB that's over here, that would be, otherwise what are you asking me? Like last time, so we, yeah, last time was in a different room.
Yeah,
so it was different.
downstairs.
So there, the USB.
HDMI
port
is over there?
HDMI.
So I have my own cable too.
HDMI in, number 2 is over here, if you want. Number 1 is available, there's nothing plugged into it. So that's gonna be on this side. You have the cable for your own thing, right?
I have a cable, just 25 feet.
Unplug this one. So you have 1 and 2 over here. John. Approach the bench. Oh, jeez. I'm sorry, I'll leave you at 6 o'clock. I didn't hear it. It was good. I was first. I'm sorry I didn't go in the back. I only heard it while you were on your way. Is this yours? Yeah. You may not need you may not need this, because, I mean, I have it here as a,
I think
the
his is
attachment,
gonna
but I
be,
don't have the big files like this drawing.
he's got massive files.
Okay, he's taking over.
Yeah, no, we need our computer because we have everything on there plus more.
All right, so.
Modern technology.
See, there's 1 and 2. There you go. It's a down computer, it's a little slow.
Weighs a lot, though, I'll tell you that.
No, I mean, the whole system. It's gonna be fast.
Gentlemen, while we pull this up, can you introduce yourself so we can start preparing the notes?
Why don't you start?
Sure, absolutely. For the record, Philip Serrano, architect. My office is in Fairfield, Connecticut. With me from my office is Eric Murray, who's setting up the computer.
M-A-M-U-R-R-A-Y?
Correct.
So,
John Vaccaro, owner, developer, and Darien resident.
Mr. Massel?
Oh, yes. Kate Throckmorton is here from
Stand in for
Environmental
Matt
Land
Pop,
Solution,
Kate
and for
Throckmorton,
Matt
landscape
Pop,
architect.
who's actually his daughter's here.
What is your last name?
Throckmorton, THROCKMORTO.
Matt's daughter's getting sworn into the bar of Massachusetts. Would be appropriate for him to be up there. And Robert Maslin, the attorney. But I'm not gonna say much tonight, it's mostly the architect and John.
Great.
Okay.
We do have other members of the development group in the audience too.
Well, anyone speaking, yeah, everyone speaking can come introduce themselves. You're
You
all
got it.
welcome.
Okay. So look, are you almost ready? No.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to do its thing.
Okay, I'll wait a second or two then. Ready?
John?
Yep.
Okay. I think we had a couple of contentious, a little bit contentious meetings, and frankly, we're all neighbors, and we're all trying to do the right thing for the town. I think we're all pretty excited about trying to finish out Norton Heights and do it in a way we're all proud of what actually gets developed there. So if we get
Well
off
said.
track,
Thank you.
you can raise your
Well said.
hand and tell me to come back on. Or if you get off track, I'll raise my hand.
Yes,
How's that?
I think we both committed to being very communicative
There you go.
and outspoken, so it's
So,
great.
with that, I want to turn to the first slide. There's a group of pictures that, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on their developments in town, but there was some suggestion that, it's not to show off what we've developed. That's not what it's about. There's some subtleties that actually apply to Norotan Heights that we experienced along the way over the last 10, 11 years. So if you want to just turn to the first slide. Okay, so this is sort of an undeveloped area of town. It's in Norotan, and Norotan's different from Norotan Heights. We all know that. So anything south of the I-95 is really Norotan. It's slightly different part of town. It's generally bigger homes on, a little bit more land than Norotan Heights. But again, this is sort of an underutilized area. And at the time, what we were trying to do is create a commerce area that would be an alternative to downtown and to Norotan Heights, so that this would be a place that people could go for convenience, shopping or a quick sandwich or whatever. We worked very closely at the time with Marianne Castell, because there was some history here that we had to be very sensitive to. She was at the time, she was a town historian. She was also on this board, and that's what we developed. So if we can flip to the next slide. Just one more point on that last slide, though, is what we really had to do that was different in that neighborhood is we had to assimilate into a neighborhood with roughly 4 churches and 2 blocks. And so it had, and everything was stone and stucco, so we had to figure out how to actually make things fit. On the top of the slide, this was the old sewing room. It's right next to Nino's. It's about half a block from Rory's, and it was flat out blight. It was terrible on the inside. We ended up ripping the whole face of the building off and tried to recreate it into some sort of New England neo-industrial. Now I'm not an architect, so if I use the wrong words, I apologize. But again, it was taking something that was really out of favor, really pretty lousy, and instead of knocking it down, we tried to rebuild it. The movie theater on the bottom, I think you're all familiar with that, and many people that are on the board today participated in what we were trying to do there. It was a 1925 building, so 100 years old. We had to basically figure out how to make the architecture blend with the old, and in addition, we used new materials versus old materials, and it turned out pretty good. But the one message here that is, again, applicable to some extent to Norotan Heights is that before we got involved with this project, for 20 years it had been talked about that there would be a walkway, a pathway from the sports shop to the Darien train station. And by opening up the back side of the building the theater was obsolete, nobody was going to it anymore or whatever, so we rehabbed, about 40% of the building. But anyway, by opening up the backside, we created a walkway from what we were trying to accomplish from the sports shop all the way through down Grove Street. Unfortunately, Grove Street needs a little bit of repair, not our doing, but we're trying to get Mr. Zagrodsky to repave it or redo something there. So, next slide.
We gotta keep moving here.
Yeah, I'll move
We
fast.
appreciate your background, but
Okay, I'll
We
move
gotta get
fast.
this.
Okay, so this is just basically another example of an old bank building that we converted, and we're right next to, across from St. Luke's and right next to the firehouse. The last one is actually the largest office building in town. When we bought it, it was in quite a bit of disrepair. No real work had been done on it in a while. We refaced it, and I can't tell you what we didn't do to this building. It's a train station orientated development or a transit orientated development. It's only one block from the train, and at the time it was about, I'd say about 80% occupied. Today it's 100% occupied. And it actually looks pretty good. We re-landscaped, redid everything in the building. And it's just a notion that we have done some contemporary design. Not everything we did has been New England type design. Next slide. Okay, so this one we're all familiar with. This would have been blight if we had legislation for it. It was on, we're in the process, the town was in the process of passing blight legislation to call it blight and get this thing off the ground. Now, we started working on it in 2019. By the time the property stabilizes, it'll be first quarter 2026, so we've been working in Norton Heights for 6 years. So not only did we think about how we were gonna get this done, but we've been thinking about the other site along the way. As I mentioned in the last meeting, or one of the meetings before, we had been pursuing the seller for about 10 years. And then when they decided to put it on the market, they ran kind of a long process. It ended up going for a year, and then it ended up being an auction. And we won the site at the corner of Edgerton and Heights Road. This is, as you know, it's built like a village. It's very different than Darien Commons. It's definitely New England architecture. And the idea of it being a kind of a village, it creates this aura of safety that people actually like. So we've seen basically two types of residential tenants. They're either Gen Z, could be millennials, and then empty nesters. Next slide. Okay, so you had asked us to basically talk about where we've seen other types of contemporary architecture in town. So going from the eastern part of Darien to the western part of
Let me actually
Darien.
be clear, where you find inspiration, where you drew inspiration, not where, we know where it exists in town, we've seen it all, we've approved it all, so just, we don't need our own town history, but
Okay,
where you
all right.
found inspiration, where you're drawing from.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So, we know there's not that much contemporary architecture in town, for sure. So, this was one, you guys just approved it recently. It's a nice design. Next slide. This was done by Grandoff, the architect in Greenwich. I'm trying to remember the developer's name, but I'm just drawing a blank.
Fletcher.
It's Fletcher's, yeah. Anyway, contemporary building. That's our building again.
Let's look at the architecture.
And then flip to the next one. Next one, that's David's new office building.
Fantastic.
It's about 3 to 4 years old already, and it fits in. This is all CBD. Flip to the next slide. This is as you go further west towards Stamford. Obviously, we know the Range Rover dealership. Next slide. Shake Shack. We know all the controversy around Shake Shack. It was the height of the building in the front. It was the sign. Today we don't even notice it. But it was quite a
No,
controversy at the
we
time.
noticed it, and we approved that, we really were behind that, we worked hard on that building.
Yeah, it
That
was.
10 years ago as well.
There was a lot of opposition. It was a little bit like Whole Foods. There's a lot of opposition to Whole Foods too, and it went away.
But this board supports that, we supported like that very strong, that was very good contemporary
It was
architecture.
intentional.
Intentional.
It was very
Yeah.
intentional.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with that. I actually
Yeah,
like it.
that's good.
Let's see. Okay, Equinox is in Norton Heights. The history of that building was built as an office building about 20 years ago. It was Tom Golden had developed it, and then Equinox came in literally 20 years ago, and then Federal redid the exterior of the building. I don't know if they did it through the ARB or not.
They did small modifications.
Yeah,
It was
okay,
mostly a paint job, quite honestly.
yeah,
The windows had been there,
yeah,
for over 10 years, those windows have been there for not long.
Okay.
Definitely.
okay.
Before
Flip
my
to the next
time.
slide. Okay, Neuron Heights. Do you all know how it was developed? It was developed because what happened is all the retailers that were on the other side of the interstate, that would have been in what we would have called Neuron, right? There was a taking, it was a condemnation by the government to put in I-95. That happened in mid-1950s to roughly 1959, and so they all moved to this side of the highway from the condemnation. Now, what happened is everything that was built was either 1950s, 1960s, some 1970s. Palmer's was remodeled in 1990, 35 years ago. And what one person had said is you have to be a little bit more focused on the history of the town, but as it relates to architecture, there was no history in this area. There was no architectural any significance. And frankly, I don't know, my personal opinion is that, I mean, you can show those, yes. It was, you know, it's kind of the dark ages of architecture as far as I'm concerned, having lived through it from the 50s to the 70s. It started to improve a little bit in the 80s. There's Palmer's from roughly 1990. This building we all know is circa 1950s. The buildings we knocked down, one was 1944, which was, I don't know what it was, might have been a gas station. Then to put another second story on it, the other one was roughly 1950s. And all these buildings that we were associated with just loaded with asbestos. So the notion of ever fixing them up and re-tenanting them, forget it. It wasn't gonna happen. Next slide.
One image you're missing off there, I'm gonna throw in is your Wells Fargo building. And I wanna say, that building is your new Gregory's Jewel Box. The scale, size, location of that is what
Well,
grounds
Yeah,
that
so,
parking lot and Palmer's and Heights.
yeah,
and it's
so
important.
we're buying the Wells Fargo building in about 2 weeks. There's been a bank branch here since 1975.
Well, the
they have-
building itself is fantastic.
The-
It's quality, size,
Yeah, no,
great
the
piece.
stone on the bottom is fantastic. It reminds me very much of Long Neck Point, the big barn. That stone for some reason has disappeared. I don't know, they elevated, I don't know what happened to it, but hopefully they'll bring it back. But the stone is great. It's plastic siding above it. Look, they have a 5-year remaining lease. They have options to extend for 30 years. It's public record, but in the Federal Registry, they have over $80 million in deposits, so I don't think they're going anywhere. But we're trying to encourage them to remodel the exterior at least. They have a nice upstairs that's...
The exterior's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a little bit upstairs as I can get, 1950s.
Oh, the interior of it.
Yeah, the interior on the second
oh.
floor. But look, it would make, I have some ideas of design, I don't know if I should do that right now.
If you
but
do, come brainstorm them before you spend any
I
architectural
think
money.
you could really, put vertical
Come.
boards up and
John,
make
she
it like
likes
a
the building
barn.
the way it is. Okay, she get that message. So.
You got a
So-
gem there.
Anyway, okay, so before we go to Kate, look, we've been working in the Heights for about, it'll be 6 years, and by the time we're done, it'll be probably 6 with the last development, assuming we do this one. By the time we really finish Norotan Heights, similar to what happened in Norotan, we were there 8 years, would probably be somewhere between, it could be as long as 9 years to basically finish it out. We definitely look at this development. I used to say it was the bridge between the different developments. There's only 3 big owners, us, Palmer family, and the Federal Realty with Darien Commons. And now I kind of think about it, this is kind of the frosting on the cake, and what we really are trying to do is build something iconic. Hopefully this will deal with one of the questions if you flip to the next slide.
Okay, Kate, we very much are excited to speak with you, but we want to stick to the architecture. We want to jump, so we're not going to jump from that presentation to that historical overview. Let's go right to the architecture.
Okay, but I
Can we
just
do
want
that,
to
John?
point out one thing,
Okay.
because one of the things you guys said is you were concerned that there wasn't enough green.
Yes.
2 things. One is we comply with the public plaza at its 10,000 square feet. We're a little bit over that, and it's been confirmed by the planning and zoning staff. And in addition, the commission has essentially given us the green light that they're good with the call it the site plan,
So
okay?
you guys removed your application to request for less public plaza? That was
We,
when you were-
no, we,
Okay.
there's only one
So you just-
text
okay.
amendment left, I'll just tell you what it is, it's not that big a deal. It's basically where we can put roughly 13 to 1,400 square feet of a gym in the basement.
Yeah.
That's the only text amendment
Okay.
left. But with respect to trees per acre, Parklands is about, call it 30, and Darien Commons about 30. Heights Crossing, we're about 34, and we own about 90% of the Palmer's parking lot, so we really have a lot of trees on, and that parking lot's probably an acre and a half. And then Heights Corner, we're almost at 40 trees per acre, so,
Let's circle back, this is an important point, there's so many discussions that can be had off it, but
okay. So you wanna
Slide
get to
22.
architecture? Let's do
we
architecture.
like you, Kate, we love you,
So-
we're very interested in this part, but we're gonna
Just gonna see
stay
if
on
there's
board
anything
with the
else.
building.
Oh. Okay, I would just say with respect to Phil before he comes up, David Radley, we got a lot of feedback from you from the last 2 meetings. We made a lot of changes, and Phil's gonna highlight those changes versus where we are today. It is still a transit-oriented development. It's definitely in the bullseye of what this new legislation that's coming out of Hartford. The governor may sign it this week. He's certainly sponsoring it. I think he wanted to wait for the elections to get done. But it's going full steam ahead. It's all about transit-oriented development. Anything, I mean, the state owns the land across the street in terms of the parking. The town of Darien owns the parking at the Darien train station, and soon the additional lot is being acquired. So we don't know what the state could do with respect to across the street. So anyway, be that as it may, I'll let you go.
Good evening, for the record again. Glad to be here again.
Are you?
I am. Philip Surround, architect, my office is in Fairfield, Connecticut. So, we're gonna flip through, I know you guys wanted to know design inspirations, right? Candidly, we don't copy other people's buildings, we don't copy other people's designs. We, for sure, driving around to get an idea here or there. In my 40 years of being in business, I've never had a design inspiration folder for any job I've ever done, right? So sure, you drive down the street and you say, oh, you know, I kind of like that thing, and it goes into your brain, but we don't ever really collect these things as folders. But being that we were asked, we put together some slides of some pictures of some buildings that, as we look through them, they give us some inspiration. None of them are gonna match our building, right? Our building is unique to our project. It's designed to our client's specifications and needs, which is why I say to people all the time, like, I could design a Spanish Mediterranean building on this side of the street for somebody, and down the street design a contemporary building, and over here design a New England building. We design to our client's needs and desires. We were charged with doing a modern, open, lots of glass, contemporary type of building. So we'll flip through these, then we'll flip through our design, and then we'll go from there. So here's just another couple of pictures.
And what are you saying about these pictures, Phil?
So if you go back to the first ones, right, you can see that, especially the one on the right, I think has a lot of the same character, where it has, you know, one material on the top, different on the, one material on the bottom, different material on the top. And one of the things we tried to do, and that building kind of similar to it, in that we have commercial space on the first floor. So we wanted the materials on the first floor to be different. We're talking to people that are potentially going to take the entire first floor. We want them to have their own identity. We'll get into some of these other things, but one of the things that we have is the corner with the steps and kind of the grand entrance, that all the tenants we've spoken to really love that idea of being able to have that as their entrance, not the entrance on the other side. So that one on the right in particular has some of that same idea of one-sided materials on the bottom, different on the top, a little bit of vertical with it. The ones on the left, I mean, the one on the bottom is obviously Equinox in Southport. The one above that is a combination of a lot of glass. This is, again, a combination of commercial and residential spaces. The one on the bottom is all, obviously, it's all Equinox. The same thing here, more on the left than on the right. I mean, this is clearly a commercial space on the bottom with a lot of glass, different types of material, and then the upper floors, again, of a different material, and some sort of band that separates the two of them. Yes.
Talk about the brick building, please.
I'm sorry?
You only talked about the one building on the left, but there was an image of a brick building that I thought was very strong.
Yeah.
on
The one on the right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, so that one there, and it was the brick that we picked up out of that more than anything. And unfortunately, you can't really see the bottom, but again, the material on the bottom is different than the material on the top of that. So, and then again, on the top, it has a lot of glass. It's the same amount of glass on the bottom as it is on the other floors, because I know one of the comments at one point was to try to gradiate the glass as it went up from bigger to smaller. But you can see in that picture, it's pretty much the same amount of glass on all of the floors there. So now we want to talk about our progression of how we've gotten from where we were to where we are today, right? So obviously this picture here is what we had previously. So what we've done is we've given you the same exact rendering with the 3 different designs that we have. Let's start.
Appreciate this view.
What?
I appreciate this view. This was
Yeah,
very
so-
successful. Thank you.
And let's start with that. I know that people aren't necessarily enthralled with the shape of our building or the location of our building. But candidly, we haven't changed the shape of our building or the location of our building in any of these designs, right? We've
Phil, I
refacaded
can
the
pause you
building.
right there. I think what we originally said is we challenged you on why. And we never got an answer there, and we're just gonna move on because there's time and money and we just have to move on in life. But that was the original thing. When any pitch comes here, they explain why and have a good argument as to how they landed on that and why any other options were ruled out.
I don't
And
wanna-
they demonstrate those.
Okay, I don't want to be confrontational, so I won't be, but I feel like we did.
You're
I'll give you the
welcome
really just Reader's Digest version, all
Okay.
right, of it, if you give me just 2 minutes for it.
Okay.
Okay? So the reason that we put the building where it is number one, we wanted to shield, we wanted to create something on the corner. We wanted to shield the parking as much as we could, and this really does with the way the shape of the building is, number one. Number two, with residential, the building can only be so deep. And if you started to try to split the building into 2 buildings, you end up with double cores, so double elevators, double stairs, double sprinkler rooms, and all of that, and it becomes way less efficient to build. So those are some of the reasons. Also, I know that some of the comments through here were about the town's development plans and everything else, and as you go through them, there's actually statements in there about trying to keep buildings on the street and keeping the facades along the street line. So those are the reasons it is where it is, all right? So now we can
It's
move
a
on.
sightline too, Phil.
And the sightlines.
It's a sightline to be able to see through, to see Darien Commons and to make it more inviting as opposed to, effectively getting rid of that wall with all the vines on it. That created, it actually encased the lower level of the Palmer's grocery store. And we were trying to open it up.
On the backside of your.
Yeah, well, look, remember that wall with all the vines on it, where the post office is? We opened that up, so now you can actually see Darien Commons. In addition, all the retail there really never succeeded over the whole time I've lived in town. And you couldn't even really see, even though the post office is there, you really couldn't even see it. Once you took that wall down, you could see everything. We'll talk about the landscaping plan because there's some changes to it that you guys wanted that Kate will go through with you, so.
So, again, so talk about the changes here, right? So, as you can see, we had the mansard roof, which we got rid of a long time ago. We had the stone on the bottom, which we carried through to this plan here. In our most recent rendition, we got rid of the stone and it's brick on the bottom. We actually have a sample of the brick that we're thinking of using right behind me, which I'll show you in a little while. So, we also, and I think if we can actually flip to the next one, it'll show a little bit better some stuff. So one of the other significant changes was we got rid of all of the stone that's up here, not just the stone that's on the bottom. We also, and this was actually a staff recommendation, of making the columns a different type of column, maybe a smoother column. We got rid of the masonry on the columns and we're doing column covers. There'll be aluminum column covers there, which would pick up the aluminum that's on the building here. And then we also got rid of the drive-it on the building, so we have no drive-it. And this becomes an aluminum type of band around the building here with the awnings that then carry across.
The vertical boards. No,
The vertical boards,
the
right?
vertical was David's idea.
Right. So then, on the parking lot side, and I know one of the comments in the past was about the fact that this entrance for the apartments isn't that pronounced it's kind of underneath the overhang of the building. And when you're standing here, you don't really, it's almost like you're lost. You can't really find where the apartment entrance is. Our goal really was that this is the apartment side of the building and the commercial side of the building is the other side. And in talking to tenants, that's the way a lot of the tenants are seeing it also. So you'll see it a little bit better later, but what we did was this area here, where we have solid walls on the bottom and glass broken up, we basically made a glass tower here, which you'll see in a different rendering. And then we also pulled the entrance out so that it's right at the edge of the building, so that it's much more pronounced and you can see it much better. Can we go to the next slide? So now these are just, those are our 3 comparison slides, right? So now these are the elevations of our current design, right? But we're gonna start with the movie of just walking you around the building, so you can see it's got the brick on the bottom, lots of glass for the commercial space, lots of glass in the apartments. And I know we've said this before, we also, by the way, originally had a staircase here that we eliminated. We didn't need it, it just cleans up that whole part of the building. We also added this overhang here, you'll see some of these in some of the renderings, but we added an overhang over the front door. And we also extended these up further to break up that line across the top. Earlier there was conversation about text amendments. One of the text amendments that was proposed was for the roof terrace. That's been eliminated. So we have no roof terrace anymore. That text amendment is no longer going to be acted upon. Can we do the renderings?
You guys weren't under the assumption or presumption that the board wasn't supportive of that terrace, right? Because I believe I put in a note that we said that would actually be
Not this board, but
we were supportive of that would actually be a very smart.
Yeah, we knew that.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
That would have led.
But planning and zoning wasn't necessarily on that same page.
All right, that would have led to a very, unique, modernly,
Right.
articulated building. Okay.
So this is the Heights Road side of the building. Again, it's got the brick on the bottom, the brick on the walk over here, and then, and I know there was comments about breaking up the facade. These wood elements actually project slightly from the building, and where all the balconies are, and every apartment has its own balcony. So every balcony either is recessed into the building to break up the facade also. Can we do the next one? This is basically looking down Edgerton, the parking lot's on your right, and the train station will be where that car is driving towards. This is again kind of looking from the parking lot back at the end of the building. And then, so here you can see, so we created this glass element, which is the stair tower for the apartments, and then this is the entrance for the apartments. So we pulled it out some so that at least it's more pronounced. But this is only, this entrance is only for the residents. There's no access once you walk in that area of the building to the rest of the building. Yeah, sure. So as far as the materials, the only things that have really changed is we got rid of the dry-bit, we got rid of the stone, and this is the brick that we're thinking of using, which is, what is that sample? So this is a sample of the brick that we're thinking of using. It's an iron spot brick. We think it's a really nice looking brick. We want a darker brick. We've explored, and I'm not kidding when I tell you that Eric just kept changing colors and changing designs of it. We've explored a lot of different colors and options on the brick, as well as different colors for the wood. We feel this is our best approach. We looked at red brick, we looked at whitewash brick, because over at Heights Crossing, you probably remember, we have whitewash brick on the whole garage. It's a whitewashed brick, right? And it's a really sharp brick. It works perfect over there. I don't personally think it works over here for this. So we're inclined to use a brick that's more of this vein here. Next to the brick is just the column covers, which would be aluminum column covers. There'll be steel columns with the aluminum column covers. I do think, and it was staff's recommendation to do that, I do think that that's a really good design idea. I think it helps those columns architecturally a lot. The windows are aluminum, anodized aluminum windows. And then the railings are all glass railings that are on the building. Questions? That was the last slide, right?
And the rest is just interior.
Yeah.
which they don't
I mean, we can flip you through the floor plans if you want. I
We've
don't
seen them and we appreciate them. They lend to
That's
your
why
thinking.
I'm
We
giving
really
you the
appreciate
option.
that. Yep, thank you. Before people come in, I will say to you guys, this presentation, this has been a great first presentation. I wish we had started here. It makes more sense, right? You give us the history, you understand where we're going. I'm sorry that it's taking us 2 meetings to get here, but I'm glad you guys took the time to really tell us your story. It really helps us understand better, so thank you for that. All right.
John, you said something, and I wrote it down because I thought it was very important to underscore. You said we want to build something iconic here.
Yeah, we need your help to do it.
Yeah.
So,
So,
the.
can I just
Oh,
finish?
okay, go ahead.
Sorry. You're not making it iconic. It looks like an office building. The massing is not the issue. The siding is not the issue. It is the architectural articulation that's the issue. The materiality is the issue for me. The back entrance feels like I'm going into my doctor's office. I don't feel like I've arrived at a mixed-use building that gives me the commercial retail experience on the podium level and residential above. It just looks like an office building.
I actually wrote down office building as well.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
it's still not there, and I think,
Still not there.
not to interrupt you,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry,
that,
but-
I just wanted to say, you're trying to accomplish something iconic, you're not there yet. It's from my professional opinion.
You were gonna say something?
No, I'm listening. Well, there is a group based in Darien that is talking to us about taking the whole first floor. It's an office. We have a shortage of office in town. Since Thorndale is coming down, we're sadly lacking office space. And this group, they live in town, their company's in town, they're out of space, and they want to take the whole first floor, which is roughly around 9,500 square feet. So there is a partial office use there.
So that would, the experience as a pedestrian walking along Heights Road and Edgerton may not be something that drives a pedestrian in and out and create that synergy and that energy that a mixed-use
Well-
building does.
Well, what's gonna drive the people, excuse me?
Go ahead. There's a lot of retail there. I'm talking about in the whole, first of all, we're on about, I don't know, maybe 17 acres between Commons and all the way to the westerly side where Heights Crossing is. So I don't know how many retail, and there's still some empty retail storefronts. So we're actually hoping to get other types of uses in town that basically will support, we've never had as much retail as we do today in Darien, we just never did. And so we always went someplace else for retail and for dinners and everything else. And now we have to basically, we need more people to actually frequent our retail that we have. So having a day crowd is actually pretty important. And the other thing about a day crowd that's office is it works well with the upstairs tenants because they're gone by 5, 6 o'clock.
But I think your argument there, what you're letting more to her back to her point, saying, if it's gonna be an office space, you need to work all the harder to bring it back to that pedestrian
Yeah, I mean,
level, right?
yeah.
If-
Imagine walking down the street and walking along all of that hardscape. And you live in the building above. How
Yeah,
does
so-
that make you
so-
feel?
Yeah, so I guess my opinion is that, why would you walk down the street when you have this amazing park-like setting you can walk through and get to the same point? Like, if you're coming from Federal, you're not gonna walk along the street, and if you're coming from the Palmer's area, you're gonna walk through the back of our area where we.
Okay, so we're saying the street
Phil,
doesn't matter?
You're
I'm sorry.
disregarding our whole sidewalks and the whole.
Well, I'm
the
saying,
whole
most
focus of
people,
Darien is
we
for-
created this great area through the back part
Give
of
us
the
another
zone where
answer there,
people
Phil,
should
try
walk.
again.
And by the way, the sidewalks are big.
Right, you guys are
They're-
investing in them,
they're-
you've
they're
invested a
very
great
wide.
deal of effort there to make a smart
Yeah, they're very
sidewalk, and we're gonna
wide
continue to.
sidewalks.
You said it was
So-
a transit-oriented building, that was
Yeah, I mean,
your
yeah.
lead comment, was transit-oriented, so now you're telling me that the people.
Well, transit orient doesn't mean it means walking to a certain extent, but they're transit oriented because the train's across the street.
Right,
But
but then
it-
they're
but-
walking in the
and-
front
and
if it's
You
transit
can,
or.
but no matter what,
it's
no
not-
matter
it's
what,
not
the first floor is
traditional-
probably gonna be offices.
So then
So
guys,
there's not two ways to slice that.
But
Then it's not the.
it's not successful. You've gotta, if it's gonna be office, then create that energy on the street then for the pedestrians, so they don't feel like they're, I'm getting into the weeds. I wanna stay high level. I think there's more work to be done to appreciate the users, both in the neighborhood and of the building.
So, yeah, I wasn't here last month, unfortunately, so other than, seeing a little bit remotely last time, I personally appreciate, some of the changes to the roof line, which was something that stuck out for me, seeing this for the first time a couple months ago, as well as some of the changes to the facade material. I think the elevation that I keep coming back to is this Heights Road elevation.
Can you put that up, please?
Yeah.
Chamfer.
I think that, to me, presents some of the examples for me where I'm still struggling with, large portions of the design. I think one of the comments that I had made a couple months ago was, some uncertainty as to why the window layout and muntin patterns, divided light patterns were the same throughout the entire facade. I know that you've changed kind of the upper transom to take one out, but to me, especially with the changes in the facade materials where we have the metal-like panel versus the wood-like panel, I would expect to see differences in the window patterns for those two different elements of the facade. And I think if we're talking about, you spoke a lot about the first floor being different from the upper two floors, which you do see quite often. And now we're talking about it potentially being office on the first floor versus residential above. There again, the windows are essentially the same. They line up. I think there's an opportunity to vary, all of that glazing, on the facade to really create some more articulation that I think would help the overall design. I think, other parts of the building actually do this a little bit better in the window sizes and patterns being different. And to me, that achieves a better look, and especially with this being your main facade along Heights Road, I'm definitely still struggling with.
What would you do differently if you alternated window, what kind of pattern would you suggest?
I
You
don't know, this is
actually
where
have
we struggled.
one of your precedent images on slide 29. It's the one that, I'm not advocating for the design, the one on the left-hand side. I'm not advocating for that design. All I'm saying is that the way the ground plane podium is treated versus the upper floors, the fenestration is different. So that the things happening above that ground plane are different. The uses are different. Probably residential. The ground plane is probably retail, right? Or office. And that's, I think, what we're talking about. Start to articulate the uses. It's okay to do that. And you can still do it in a modern way. You can still make it iconic. But right now, it's just a lot of the same in your current design. So it's not expressing itself.
I also like in that slide 29 right there, like I still feel like the bottom looks very classic, like a classic design, and the top in your current design looks much more modern. I like the way that, if you're going to have any sort of awning or canopy, like that looks quite modern compared to what you're designing. I also like, I think my biggest thing of this whole building is it looks flat. I think that bring it in a little bit in the, in the office space, bring it out so that it looks like it's sitting on top of it, and play with the volumes of these, where the different textures, or, you're putting the different, materials, so that you've created these boxes, but the facade itself is flat. So you can sort of push and pull.
Well, we did, I mean, the balconies, where all the balconies are, that's an inset of about 4 or 5 feet. along the whole thing.
But the rhythm is very sort of,
flat.
yeah. I
Well,
mean,
there's a
it's-
rhythm to it, there's no question about it. I mean, the building's not that big, honestly, and so we didn't
There's
want
that
it to
one.
be, this building is definitely
But the
bigger,
office
because this
building
keeps going
sitting
down the
on
street.
top of-
We wanted to get more glass than they have in that
bottom,
building.
and it's like
I think
showers.
this image,
It could be very cool.
sorry, I think this image to me, and it gets into something that still is kind of bothering me with this facade, is the corner treatment, it's kind of this volume, and then it changes to the other volumes, and I think right now, especially the height through it is, you know, it's almost too much rhythm and too much, it's, I don't know, it's just not there, and trying to take this overall view is, you know, where is this building creating a narrative? I'm all for modern design, and I'm all for if we can get a contemporary building to work on this corner, but it takes me back to, for me, I keep going to the, you know, these two images are kind of speaking to me a little bit more as far as where the volume can still be the volume that you have designed, but breaking it up by making these elements a little stronger. I think the corner is a little bit of a missed opportunity, perhaps. It's evolved some, but it's just kind of rapid.
Can you pull up
I
the
guess.
corner?
Yeah, let's pull up the corner again.
But even in the precedent image, before that,
Is it,
yeah, the corner's dealt with in a nice way too.
In the precedent image.
In this precedent image on slide 28, yeah.
Phil, did you guys take a
I'm
look at
sorry,
this?
which one?
The precedent image.
Slide 28. In slide 28, the precedent image, and it may not, I mean, it looks like a corner, and it looks like there's a corner, yeah, there's a corner retail space, and then apartments, I'm assuming those are apartments.
We're talking about the one on the right.
Yeah,
Yes.
the one on the right, sorry.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's, Dave, what you're talking about, right? That
Yeah, it's-
pushing in a little bit. and
Yeah,
the
it's
other
like the
stuff
corner,
pulling
yeah,
out.
I think it needs to go a little bit further, at least in my opinion.
further back,
Um,
I mean, further back.
I'm not gonna say further in, further out, I'm a little concerned that you're grasping onto these things that I'm just putting out there and saying, like, these
Understood.
are designs that I've put into this project, I'm a
We'll
little
go back to the-
uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
It's
So
just
because-
the sense of the corner being an anchor is, I think, it can be brought a little bit further, I guess, trying to keep it in terms of a broad observation.
Right, so we put, I mean, on the upper two floors, the corner is pushed in, and then we added the canopy over the front, to kind of accentuate that whole office entry on the lower level.
I think it also then extends to the side, like how does it come
Right,
around the side,
right.
and then does it cut in,
Right.
and does it actually become a corner? Right now it's a wrap, so, again, I'm not gonna tell you how to design it.
Understood.
So it's just this observation, then the facade having these, you know, wood elements that are projecting, always projecting, and then having the, you know, the the parapet coming around and being interrupted. I think that's successful in some parts, but I don't know if it's something that you need to do every time. And I think it gets into what's, you know, I'm looking at some of these other images that we kind of are kind of observing.
Yeah.
And I keep going back to this kind of narrative structure within our area, and I think this was mentioned last time, the Yale in town in Stamford, and we don't have to just rely on Darien images. You know, we live in Fairfield County. I had a artist studio in the Yale in town that was converted over to lofts, but it kept the character of the building with the large windows. But it was it got into some consistency in terms of the materiality, but it was interrupted at certain points by some other facade elements. I think you've taken those elements and maybe played with them maybe too much, maybe dialing back a little bit. You know, as far as, you know, do we have to have wood, recessed wood, you know, it seems like you can take these volumes and get some of that push-pull by combining the material, by accenting the corner, and still maintain the floor plan.
Yeah, I don't think you need to worry too much about the plan and the massing. I think it's literally the articulation of the facade that has room for improvement.
Yeah, there's elements there that I'm in favor of, it's just the way they're all put together,
Yeah.
I guess, is kind of,
And I
Not there
really
for
do
me.
think if you looked at that ground plane podium level, the retail, the office, whatever it is, and articulated that in such a way that it felt like it had a purpose, and the upper floors have a purpose. And, you know, there is a cohesiveness about the building in the design, but I think it'll help you. I think there's a lot of the same on all 3 floors.
You guys haven't said anything about the elevation of the corner, but it sounds like
On
that's
the-
not, I'm talking about the staircase. That's.
The height of the building out of
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I mean, we had to do that because of the flooding, so.
Oh, the,
I'm not opposed to the,
Okay.
pulling it.
yeah.
it up.
Okay. I just wanted to double check.
I think you can deal with that, terracing it, however,
Okay.
you know, there's way, it doesn't have to be this stair to the middle. It could be done in a way that, I mean,
Sure.
talking about TOD, do some like little mini plazas perhaps as part of it with some planting and a ramp that's associated with it. There are ways to treat that height difference.
One of the first comments you had was, if you're gonna go contemporary, go, like,
Yeah.
go all the
All
way.
the way.
And it feels still like you're not going all the way, like that stairs, like you could
Yeah.
do something truly contemporary and really step up to that, right? And along the other building, where Dave's saying, like, the rhythm of it is traditional. The rhythm, it wouldn't be, contemporary design wouldn't be like proud wood, recessed metal, proud wood, it wouldn't be, right? It would be asymmetrical almost in that sense, almost like what you did on the rear side. I feel like
Yeah.
your most successful rendering here is on the rear, that one
Yeah,
entrance
that's
where you did,
pretty
where
cool.
if you flip to the back, there's one piece that's extremely successful, and it's like, it's where you broke the symmetry, it's where,
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
that
yeah.
left, yep, everyone sees it,
Yep.
yep, that, there you go. That's the most successful, I think, on the left side, the left in that corner, right?
Yep, because it isn't sort of this regular thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And then you have one big element on the right of it and a smaller one.
that's right.
Yeah,
So it's not.
it's not as broken up, I guess.
And here, again, I'm gonna go back to your precedent images. There's a lot of asymmetry in those images. There's a lot of, those images kind of are telling us that that's your intent, but it's not in your design.
I also want to say, ask, you know, the stairs are so nice and so grand, and you're giving it over to the office tenants. I think it's really a shame. I mean, I think I would want to live there. That's more of a residential entrance to me, to come up those stairs. I'd be happier doing that than going back here. This is more of an office building entrance. So, I mean, I know it's probably not going to be your, it screws up your plan, I'm sure. However, I think that would be a better expression.
Well, we see all the residents parking in the back and the office people parking mostly across the street. And if it's retail, then we see people wanting to enter from the street side more than from the back
I
side.
would never want to come in here if I lived here this way. It's just not that.
Once you get
friendly.
into the apartment, you're gonna live.
Yeah, but, hey, look, I walk around all the time, and it's all the experience that I take in as I go. I find this a little threatening, honestly, if it's not, I mean, unless you're gonna blast it with a lot of light, which I don't think is great either. It's just not that friendly. I just don't wanna go there.
How about colors? You guys haven't said anything about colors.
Did
People looking at this and-
material board?
Oh, sure.
We can, I mean,
I liked your colors when you looked at them separately, but then we had a picture up on the screen of the facade, and
Which
it,
one?
if you squinted it just, the materials separately could be fine, but if you squinted, it looked gloomy. It looked a little bit more like, warehouse,
right, so,
and that, I didn't love that either.
these are our colors, right?
I actually like the brick.
You do?
I like the brick, yeah.
Yeah.
And the wood, like, is that a porcelain, tile?
Yeah. I mean, these are basically the three colors.
Yeah, and,
Yeah, like I said, I don't mind the material separately, somehow, when they're put over together,
I think it's the aluminum that's.
it looks a little gloomy.
Could be,
What's the
yeah.
pattern
Right, it
of
look,
the
it
metal
feels officey.
panel or the,
Like a red,
um,
I mean, you know, for,
the metal light?
I don't know, that's,
I wouldn't go right
Mm.
there.
It's just where-
I mean, unless it's more.
Like that.
all
yeah, yeah, then it takes the mill building concept,
Yes.
like contemporary mill building.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which, again, this, the massing of this kind of
Oh,
speaks to that.
Yeah.
2 by 4.
Two, no, we're 2 feet.
Oh,
Can I ask a
They'll be
couple
bigger
of
for
things?
us.
Let's
Let's make
bring the
one
conversation in.
Yeah.
It's great, what do you, sorry,
yeah, I just, you know, I think part of what we're trying to achieve is,
You can, you wanna,
you know, a little bit more interest in some of these
Joe wants to show.
design components, so I think the
Show the
wood
red.
look panel, you know, has some interest just based on the color and pattern of it, but I was just trying to get a little more information on the metal panel. You said it's gonna be 2 by 4, 2 foot by 4 foot? Yeah.
Yeah,
Just talk about the metal panel for a sec. Are you gonna see the spacing between the panels?
It's just, it's like
flush?
quarter-inch joint.
Okay.
It's a
So you
look
kinda
box
see
panel,
it.
basically.
I think to me also, if it's gonna be an office space and not a retail space, I'm not sure why there's awnings, and I don't know why, like Christine said, there's this grand entrance. If you think that this is really going to be an office space, then make the bottom look more like an office space. Like, to me, like this made the awnings and the grand entrance, if, when you said one common tenant, I figured it was retail. Like, this to me, like, you'd walk into, like Christine was saying, you'd walk to that front and you'd think that that was something that I wanted to go to. And I think even as a, I don't know who your tenant is, but I don't think I think it'd be a liability, you know,
Well,
as far
candidly, the
as.
tenants we've talked to, the two of them, actually were very much in favor of everything that's on that first floor the way it is. They love that entrance, candidly.
The retail tenant, or the
The
office
office
tenant.
Oh, I would love the entrance to it, that's what I said, I would.
As an office
I-
tenant?
Not as an, not, no, not.
It's an office
as an
tenant,
office tenant.
tenant or
As a
something.
you know, I think it's a nice entrance for and I would prefer it to be for the residential, or for restoration hardware. It looks to me like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
restoration hardware entrance.
wait, which entrance? You're
The
rounded
rounded
corner. The rounded corner.
Yeah.
Okay, but wait, you guys be clear, I think we're giving the two messages.
Yeah.
We're saying like this, but we also just said the front entrance is unresolved, feels like it's not cut, so we're saying we gotta
Like
say
the
consistent.
grandness, like.
The grand, okay, I wanna make sure we're clear for you guys.
'Cause I don't think it's right if for an office space.
The entrance not right for, okay, are you following, Phil?
Residential entrance.
I am, but I mean, the office tenant's not signed up. We think it's gonna be an office tenant. I think we have to have the flexibility that if that deal falls apart and ends up being retail, it's gotta be able to work both ways. We're not gonna say it's 1,000% sure, or suppose the office tenant goes out next year and then somebody wants to put residential or retail in there.
I'm wondering if we, I don't know if this accomplishes anything, but if we change the awning to be a flat glass awning, they're expensive
I
to
would
put
say
in.
like a brise-soleil or something. I
Yeah,
don't think
pre-soleil,
glass-
I agree, not a flat glass.
Not
Well,
flat glass.
We're talking about, I mean, because the awnings also shape the windows, so
Yeah,
give you
yeah,
some
I
shade on
can
the
see
windows.
the need,
I
like
I
south
think the
side.
awnings work really well, they also break up the
If you-
facade.
I'm gonna go
That's
back to one of the
exposure.
precedent images, I think it was slide 28, it had like a brise-soleil, awning, it was the one on the,
That's what you
yeah, yep, there, right there. So you've got, on the ground plane, you've got a sort of transom line, I think, where you could, again, whether it's retail or office, start to treat and articulate those windows differently, have that brise-soleil, and it becomes your sort of unifying line
Is
that
that
goes
flat
along.
glass or?
It's metal, metal wood.
It's like
it-
louvers or, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
louvers, but it could start to organize your line across that, plane, give it some architectural interest, treat that bottom floor as something different, and then upstairs is something else. They're all maybe similar colors, materiality, but the articulation is different, so it feels like you're going into different spaces. And I actually I'm not a fan of that corner stair, so I would rather see it broken up and be interesting
architecturally too, from a hardscape standpoint.
Or-
And you can do it because you got a lot of height difference, so you can really create some fun planes.
I could agree with that, I mean,
Especially if it's not gonna be a residential
Well,
arrival.
and if it's not a dedicated offer, so you don't know what it's going to be, yeah, and it has to maybe be less dedicated.
Right,
That could be
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, I can see that.
For me, this image on the left seems more inviting, more pedestrian.
Right.
Something I could see fitting in Darien. When I look at the current design you're proposing, I don't see it as filling in the street and kind of completing your own heights. You know, I think when we use the word iconic, we want to be careful that we're not, you know, making a showpiece building that's just not fitting in with everything in the neighborhood. Sometimes the best buildings kind of want to just look like they've been
Belong
there
there.
and belong there.
Yeah.
And I think when you have too many different styles, it looks kind of chaotic, and, you know, I think it would almost be helpful being like, these are the different buildings we're seeing along the street on Heights Road, and this, and showing how your design really fits in and kind of sells it as a whole.
I was listening, by the way, thank you.
I'm gonna read a comment, one of our board members got the flu tonight, but wanted to respond to you guys, take the time, so, do you mind if I read
Please
her-
do.
her commentary to you? From Anya Janis, our vice chair, she says, "No one on this board underestimates the scale of V20's investment in Darien nor the value you have added to our town. Your commitment to elevating the built environment here is well known and genuinely appreciated. That said, tonight's review is not about past successes, but the architectural merit of the specific building and whether it meets the standards in the ARB mission, whether it reflects or thoughtfully advances Darien's architectural vernacular. This submission is essentially a facade update to an application that did not receive a favorable report. While the revisions move in the right direction, the core concerns, massing articulation, the window proportions, facade detailing, and the treatment of structural elements remain largely unresolved. The question is whether the given building's inherent shape, angles, and overhangs, if any facade revisions can realistically achieve the architectural standard we know that V20 is capable of. V20 has delivered some of the most attractive commercial buildings in Darien, including 2 truly standout projects on Post Road. We've seen your team produce exceptional work, which is why we fully believe you can do the same here. And because the site is more visually prominent than nearly any other V20 property, arguably second only to Heights Crossing, the community impact is that much greater. For that reason, and with genuine respect for the quality V20 has demonstrated elsewhere, I encourage the team to take a deeper look at the facade composition and detailing so this building can rise to the level of your best work yet, and to the level Darien deserves."
Thank you.
There's one,
Oh, yes.
one thing I wanted to bring up had to do with the floor plans for each of these apartments. Now, in your facade, it's, if you go back to the facade, the Edgerton facade, it's a good example. A lot of those are 2-bedroom apartments, am I correct? So are you using like a butterfly plan with the living room in the middle and 2-bedroom on each side, or are you doing 2-bedroom and ganged up and the living room? It's hard to tell from the elevation.
Yeah, it's 2 bedrooms with a living room in the center.
So it's a butterfly plan.
Correct.
So you have 1 bedroom with a balcony, and then and then the living room and bedroom, or is it the balcony in front of the living room?
Yes.
The balconies would be
The
for the
balconies
living
in front of the
space.
living room. So if we did, I mean, I took a look at the floor plans, because this is where the facade starts. It's what room is inside which. From looking at this facade, not to be critical, but just, it's impossible to say where the bedrooms, can I have the facade? Where the bedrooms or the living rooms are, because they receive the same amount of fenestration.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe there's a missed opportunity, and that's why I'm having a hard time thinking of butterfly plan when I see the plan. And look, if I could zoom with my mouse, I would, but I can't. So I see the balconies are at one end of the unit.
There's a bedroom here, and then this is.
So the living room doesn't have the balcony.
Correct.
It's a bedroom that
Right.
has the balcony.
Right.
Okay, so, I mean, that could also be a choice with the developer, the French word. The developer can make the promoteur. Can make the choice to have the balcony in front of the living room because it's a bigger space, and then have the bedrooms be the one forward with more material and less glass. Or vice versa, you have the whole, you know, the living room has the large amount of glass and the bedrooms have less glass, because typically you want a little bit more privacy. I also have a problem with the glass balconies because they don't provide the privacy that people are looking for, especially with that kind of high traffic area. They get dirty, and I don't know, I think your balconies are fighting you in the overall rendering. If you had a different material or a different way to articulate them within the floor plan, there could be some ideas. I'm just offering some suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't designed all the interiors yet, so we can work on all of
Yeah.
that for sure. The glass railings on the balconies, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
the doors
the
are gonna be
location
glass
of the
no matter
balcony
what.
and what goes in and out.
So, we did the glass railings we didn't do them on the lower railings, because we didn't wanna do them on the street level, but we did them on the upper ones for the transparency and to make them lighter looking than
But you already have so much glass that do you really need more glass on the balconies?
Or
That's kind of the
well, I guess the question isn't that, the question really is, do we want something heavier that more accentuates them? And the answer was no in our mind, we wanted them to kind of just disappear more.
Okay, so I'm afraid.
And then it
that-
also, by keeping them glass, it also gives you the changes in the facade versus the railings would make it seem more like a flat facade. So, we can look at options for
Metal
sure, but
cables
we
and
didn't
stuff.
really.
But, you know, people put stuff on their balconies and it doesn't look good. And
Right.
That's the problem, is the management of the balcony.
bicycles.
I mean, if you have a beautiful $3 million house near Long Island Sound, you keep your terrace completely clean and perfect because you wanna see the view. If you're there, you're gonna need to put your suitcases or your bike or whatever, you know, like whatever is on the balcony may not be what you wanna see. So, how's that in terms of strategy for your floor plan? That's just, it looks
He's talking to you.
interesting.
Yeah, I know. I'm just sitting there. I don't want people to leave their bicycle on the balcony.
Yeah, well,
They do it.
they
They're
put,
all the time.
it's like urban, you know, you were talking about the Gen Z and millennials, they all have
Well, we
a
do have,
little electric scooter and stuff.
we do have a lot of storage in the basement for that sort of thing, but.
So, John,
No
let-
electric bikes.
oh, Mr. Humphrey,
I want to say one more thing about the metal-like panel, because I think it's, for me, an example of the next level that I'm looking for here. Instead of saying, we're not sure of the dimensioning of those panels yet, I think we're at the point where you should be able to say, this is the dimension of the panel we're using. We're gonna use a 1/4 inch spacing because the design intent is for it to look monolithic. Or we're gonna go to 3/8 because the intent is to see the pattern of the 2x4 panels, and that represents part of the architectural design. We put up Mr. Genovese's office building that was built a few years ago. He used a rain screen panel that was a metal-like look.
As a
It was-
fiber cement.
Okay.
It's a what?
Fiber cement.
But it was part of the design that they were large format panels, and you could actually see the pattern of the panels in the building, and that is part of what that makes that building unique and work, in my opinion. So, again, that's the level of detail that I think, we should be at, or would like to see when we come back, or what,
I think that was a question last time too, is that, like, we couldn't tell where the panels were on the aluminum.
Well, the
So
idea
it would have helped
is,
to
the idea
see.
is to keep the
Well, it
gap
would have helped
small
to
so that
see-
it looks,
Yeah, I don't know, but
more
there's still
monolithic.
gonna
I mean,
be,
it's tough to see
Yeah.
in this rendering, so, I don't know whether we can have a, close-up to truly show what that's gonna look like in real life, and how that relates to the adjacent wood look panel. I think, again, I go back to the window pattern, but also, what does the trim look like, if anything different than just the standard, storefront. I will say, one of the things that, stands out to me a little bit with the Heights Crossing is that kind of just more commercial level storefront. And, can something else be used either at the residential level? If the ground floor is, retail or commercial, maybe that can remain the same there, but, is there an opportunity, what does that actually look like? I don't know whether it's that.
you mean like
example
something,
there.
like, you have a storefront on the bottom, but then like modern windows.
right, I was gonna say
go
Marvin
up.
Moore into a
Yes.
floor or something like that.
Those have very narrow,
Right.
site, structure,
Frame.
frame dimensions.
Look at this to that level of
Yeah.
detail to make some of these decisions, to make it, more iconic, for lack of a better term, right now.
Well, while we're on the windows, we might as well ask this question. We've explored all these options and probably have 30 renderings in there if we want to show them all to you. We're actually going right now, we have the aluminum anodized panels. What's the thought of doing black frames on the windows instead?
Do you guys have, oh, sorry, Mike. You're on a run, I like it, I don't wanna stop.
I'll stop on head.
No, you're doing great, it's
I mean, we can show it to you with the black frames if you want, or we just,
Sure,
being
yeah,
that
yeah.
we're,
We have a
we're
bunch
Can I
of.
just
spitballing,
make a
we're-
comment? I think that getting into the details of the colors of the frames, before we actually resolve the big idea, is probably not the best use of all of our time.
that's fine, I was just
Yeah.
picking up on his
Yeah,
comments.
no, I know.
Actually, I want to make one last comment on the windows, and this has to do with, and this was brought up on the first presentation, you had triple pane, but then you said, oh, we're just doing triple pane on the railroad side. Again, I think, working as a high-performance architect, that triple pane will just be beneficial to be used throughout. First of all, you could get condensation issues if you're just using insulated glass, especially considering the amount of glass. I'm kind of curious how you're going to pass energy through it, but triple pane would certainly help in that.
Right, for sure.
So,
Yeah, I mean, candidly, at Heights, we didn't do triple pane any place.
No, we did.
Did we?
Yeah, the whole front of the building's triple pane.
Yeah, I just think the
Parts of
whole,
sides.
if you're going to do triple pane, do it.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
We
I
do
Right, I agree.
massive amount of foam insulation on that building. And frankly, we just had I don't know, like an open house with all the residential tenants. And one of the things they all said, and we were hoping they would say this, is they said, we can't believe how quiet this building is. And
It's
they
great.
said, we can hear when the train pulls, blows the horn, but other than that, we don't hear anything.
Oh, there's the sound benefit, but speaking to the energy benefit of using it.
There's both benefits, for sure.
So John, we haven't gotten to we haven't forgot about you. We're very excited to hear from you. What would you like to hear from us? Because we're not trying to waste your time, we want this to be successful. We don't want to keep going through rounds of this. Now, we've gotten two directions. I've heard kind of an inside planning and zoning that's like, come up with ideas, be more specific, tell you guys to do this, do that. We tend not to do that because we don't want to design your building. You have an expert here, you're your own experts, you know what you want. But we also want to be successful and don't want to waste your time. So we keep giving you feedback. I've done different types of letter. I've gotten more general, I've gotten more explicit, we've gotten a whole list of stuff. What would you like from us? Do you want us to tell you, we have stuff here. If you design this, we can give you something, it will be successful. You'll get a favorable report, we'll just hash out a few things.
What is that?
We put together a ton of precedent images. Yeah.
Herbie said.
Well, I think you had your own precedent
Yeah.
images that
I know.
was-
I
Yeah,
didn't
even
see
your own
those.
precedent
Yes.
images
Resonate to
were,
us.
we
Yeah, I
actually,
like those.
Yeah.
we were aligned with a lot of pieces of it. We kept pointing back to it and said, look, that you got it there, why isn't it in your building design?
Yeah.
Right? You show them as your precedent. Precedent isn't about copying, precedent is about
I get
taking
it.
vocabulary.
Understood.
So, yeah, what would you like from us to be
Well, why
successful
don't
from
we
here?
close some things down? Let's do the site plan and the landscaping and whatnot, so you can see where we are with that. We do have.
But the landscaping won't affect the architecture. Those
No,
are
it
two
won't
separate
affect the
pieces, so I wanna make
architecture.
sure
I
while
just
we're
wanna
on
make sure
this.
that you guys know what we're doing as relates to landscaping and
Yes.
that piece of it. And then candidly, I think we need to sort of regroup and figure out exactly what we want, and I will just come back to you with what we're thinking.
Have
I mean, we need to huddle for a couple.
But I think what I'm taking out of this is that I think that, I know we're not there from your perspective, but I think we've made a lot of progress, and I think we're at least, as far as the overall massing of the building, I think, at least my consensus.
That was never the issue. And by the way, we went back and read, this board has never said change the massing. I think that was an interpretation
Then
from
it was
your
a
representatives.
then we had a
Yeah.
miscommunication.
And yes, and we wanted to see an argument made for why this massing came to site, but that was never the problem.
Okay,
I
so
think it's
check.
coming down, check, great, all on the
Done.
same page there.
Move on.
It's coming down to the architectural articulation, and not just changes in skin, but true treatments of architecture on how this building's
Got it.
read. So have we given you enough here though to give you direction for that? Do you need more? I'd love to flush out, because I don't want you to waste you guys' time having to come back here like. with
No, I
nothing.
mean, and candidly,
Right.
We're not gonna go to the minute details.
Yes, there's-
They've
yeah.
got to figure this out, we're not gonna sit there.
Right, but
Well, and that's why we, in the past, haven't been giving you, change the windows, add this to the fenestration, you know,
I know, but
swap
some
out
of
this
those
different-
comments helped for us to make sure that we button up that stuff as we go through this, right? And, I mean, so, this whole presentation helped us also to try to make sure that we're getting to the right place. So, yeah, so I think I have what we need, unless John or his team think that we need anything else.
What I'm hearing though is that, just to summarize a bit, is that we need a bigger differentiation between the lower level and the upper level. We can do some work on the front entrance and to make it more interesting. And even when I think about ground floor, New York City versus the apartments or condos upstairs, sometimes there's a lot of big differences with respect to that, to make it look like you can actually see the difference between the two types of, the two uses.
and the entrances match the functionality.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, so, I think we have enough where we can play with that and try to make it a little different. It sounds like,
You need to look at the fenestration. You really need to look at the fenestration.
Yeah.
I think it will help with the articulation that we're
Yep,
talking about,
exactly.
not just the fenestration and relationship of windows. I mean, I'm just.
Windows, I agree.
If you miss that, I think you're gonna go back to where we are.
okay.
Do you do any side work?
I think it can't be the same repetitive
That's
thing.
conflict.
It's as simple as that, I mean, really,
Yes,
this
right,
isn't.
yes.
No, go back
I
to those
did,
two
but I
images,
was not allowed.
38 and
28, 29.
31.
They're really 28 and 29.
29, those two slides, you.
But you know, it's funny that you didn't
Well,
get
that's
these.
another-
Yeah.
When I send them to.
I just curious, how come you guys,
No, they
Did
were.
you-
how come you've never approached a modern all brick building? That was what was there before, but that's, and now John, I'm gonna call you out because I know you like
Which
it,
one?
and every member of this board loves this. Every member of the board brought their own piece, and it's a lend to what was
We have a
there.
red brick here, we can show you.
Show
We have a
us,
red brick,
show us.
No,
but it's not, the whole
But
building's
this is,
not
but
brick.
by the way,
Not
the
all.
red brick, it goes back to the same idea. It's not just a skin change.
He knows what.
John, it's not just a skin change though, it's a full fenestrational change, right? It's not just putting red brick on top of what you have, right, guys? You're-
I know.
That, it's different, right? It's,
Yeah. You call it federal, I actually think of it more
No.
as, I call it like.
Is that the
New
same
England
building?
Same
industrial.
no, Dave Riley called it, mill.
Mill building.
I think that's industrial mill, same thing.
That gets into the narrative concept of we have
Yeah,
these
well, there's a
buildings
brick here, but
pick up in
I think the one image
Reading,
there.
which one we have, they're trying to figure out what to do with this whole mill building, I drive past and it's this beautiful.
The only
you know,
brick one we have is,
Thing that can be made into a brick.
I know the building you're talking about, that's a cool
it
building.
says red brick with black
I know
bricks.
that building, it's
Oh,
really
yeah,
good.
there's a lot, that's been discussed for
No,
Something
we
we
20 years,
talked
we don't
about
have one
whatever,
that's all
but-
brick.
and Kate, you're teed up here, we
No, I
got
don't
T
have-
minus
Yeah, so
2 minutes, girl.
we don't- yeah,
Okay.
I'm ready, whenever you are.
We don't have one that's all brick. We
Okay.
have one that's black frames and red brick, but everything else was the same. We don't have one that has, like, that's brick on the, that's, the ones you're showing me, a brick on the second and third floor, and then a different fenestration on the first floor. We don't have that.
I think you guys should consider it, I know, like, after you create a new fenestration.
Right.
And you skin it with these colors, I think you should play with a red brick. Red brick with your black iron, your black metal, right? David Humphrey, in the weights of that metal, the sizes of those panels. It's something to consider, it would be successful. Oh, okay.
I also think that
All red brick?
No, not all red.
No, no.
Just lower level red brick.
No,
That's what.
no, oh,
No,
you don't
that's
have a
red.
full level red brick, you only have a lower level. We're not just talking lower level, we're talking
With the
The whole
entire.
building.
entire
No, we don't
building
have that.
with, yeah, okay. Something to think about.
I also think you don't have to die on the sword of the, highlighted corner or the chamfered corner or whatnot. I think, if you're gonna truly make this something that's flexible, and you don't know if you have an office tenant, you can let go, if you let go of that, something else might really, really happen, and allow people to walk along there. Yeah, maybe you think they don't wanna go that way because they wanna walk through the park, but there's something nice about people walking by at the street level. They're gonna get off the train, they're not gonna go all the way down there and go in through the park maybe, or maybe they're just gonna run over and get something. I think those two precedent images where people were walking under that overhang, that differentiation on the ground floor makes the building part of the town itself.
Right.
Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, during the planning and zoning commission, did they talk about bringing the ground level further down and not having that stoop in the stairs going
No,
up?
they did not.
No.
Are you sure? Because it doesn't actually flood, it's not a flood zone, it's a ponding at that.
It's
at
a
the
drainage
entrance.
problem.
Well, there's,
No, no.
It's a, it's
Yeah, but we
not-
can't do, unless you make the building different levels, you can't do that, because if you carry the floor elevation here straight across, that's 4 feet out of the ground. It's as simple as that. Unless you make the building 2 levels, and that doesn't
Yeah,
work for,
different level and-
that doesn't
if
work
it's a
for,
retail-
marketability wise, doesn't work at all. Not for a single
Did
tenant.
they talk about that or no?
They might have mentioned it, it was, if they did, it was pretty.
I didn't hear it at all, and I was at every one of those meetings.
And you did explain you wanted it all on one level.
It needs to be at one level, it does not work at all on multiple levels on the first floor.
All right, let's go to landscaping. Kate's been so patient, we appreciate it.
We can show you the slides. Eric, can you put the landscape ones up for her, please?
so where we came out with planning and zoning is, if we can go to slide 23, and then I'll let Kate take it from there, is, okay, on the, oh, we lost it.
It's on full screen.
Okay, so on the westerly side, we had boxwoods there, and we were trying to create that sight line so you could see all the way back to Darien Commons. And Steve Albany came to us and said that you all would rather see trees there. And then Matt put in birch trees there, which the only concern, we'll do it if that's what you prefer, but the only concern I have is that I don't want to create that wall that currently is, we took down. In other words, with the, I didn't want to entomb the lower level of the Palmers. I wanted to create something that's a little bit more open.
I think having heavy medians there is a make or break of this board, because otherwise it's a sea of asphalt. So it needs to be, the tree, Kate can talk about the tree selection, I think unfortunately Anya's not here to kind of lend to that, but
Yeah.
the trees can be figured out, it has to be different tree every other bed anyways, right? It can't be the same one.
Yeah, and that, well, that, I'll let you go through with,
Okay.
well, I guess Anna's not here, but anyway. So, that was that, the Planning and Zoning Commission did sign off on the public plaza space and the site plan as it exists, the L-shaped building, and it met all the measurement requirements that staff had calculated and the commission accepted. We're not formally approved by planning and zoning, but, so they could come back with something, but for the most part, they liked it. And then we have blow-ups in all those little areas where you can, and she'll take you through that. The statues, the one down below, we also have the flagpole, which you'll see. And then in one of the corners, we actually put in outdoor dining, so with that, I'm gonna hand it over. So, remember, there are some challenges with this site. We talked about flooding. Who has a road going right through the middle of their site? Not many people. We had setback things of concerns. We had coverage, which we meet all these requirements. There was no water retention systems on this site, so that's part of the flooding, although frankly, most of the soil there was fairly impervious. So that did create some ponding, but the truth of the matter is the real flooding comes from, there's in the middle of the street on Edgerton, there's it just flows out of there, and the last flood was in October last year. It flooded like about 8 inches of Larry's, so it does still flood. Anyway, I'll let you.
Okay, good evening. Kate Throckmorton for Minute Pop tonight. I'm just gonna hit the highlights of the changes, and if you want me to go in depth a little more, I will. I think initially there was some discussion about trees. We've included a tree summary chart. Let's see. Right down, oh, it doesn't actually work on this screen.
This one works on the LED.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Okay, so we have a tree summary chart on there. We've increased the trees a fair amount. As John had said, it was a big focal point to add some trees along this area to break up the parking lot and provide some green break in there. There was also, let's see, some additions to the sculpture here. A table back here, In addition to benches all over the site, which is on the next slide. I think, just reiterate that we've got the sidewalk with specialty pavement that does run through the back from Farmers Market through
The sidewalk's flush, right? It's not raised?
at the moment, yes. I think, well, through this area, I think this area's gotta be raised through, there's a curb, I think, there.
Okay.
So,
Go forward.
Joe, I'm gonna put in plant the idea about a raised sidewalk, and for safety. I mean, Federal didn't do this, and you cut through that site, and it is alarming as a mom, and even as an adult, to know the number of cars that are gonna shoot out of there and not slow down, just because there's a,
It's raised.
They walk by
We raised it in the middle of Heights Crossing for that very reason, and then it still wasn't enough. We had to put in, after the fact, we ended up putting in some speed bumps to slow people down.
so these enlargements just kind of hit on the highlights that I just talked about. Additional benches in the northwest corner, near the building, underneath the building, that provide some protection, again along the building. A small sitting area with table at the northern end of the park. Some additional plants throughout here to provide some separation from the cars and the street. A little activity area that kind of really creates an interest so that you come in. There's also a connection to the parking area, and a lot of benches that are set in, so that you can kind of get in and set out of the flow area, and also right next to the walls as well. So then the park has got a variety of trees and shrubs and a bit of lawn green area to break up that area. So these are just a couple of images that helps create these areas. They include shrubs, evergreen shrubs along the actual parking area, flowering plants that provide interest throughout the year, the flagpole at the center, and the sculpture on the bench. And this is looking back. Oh, this is actually on Heights Road. Yep. So this is a similar, just showing you the variety of plants that are provided on the plan today.
Yep.
I have an overall comment. Sorry. I think as we've discussed sort of the more contemporary, perhaps articulation of the building and breaking up that ground plane and that corner, and perhaps having the ground plane start to play in that not so symmetrical and formal planning. I wonder if that can bleed into this section so that that corner spot isn't so formal.
Okay.
I think you've got lots of space here to create some zig and zag, and I really like the idea of that bench with the sculpture on it. That's a little bit of a folly that I wonder if that was more hidden would be interesting, and if it's hidden, maybe there's really cool ways to
A little more
get
intrigue.
Yeah, I mean, more interesting to draw people into it, right, than be so formal to arrive at.
Okay.
And I also think perhaps, I know you have trees along Heights Road. Feels like it needs more green, I don't know, like planters around the trees, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. It just feels there's a lot of hardscape.
Yep, on Heights Road.
On Heights Road. That could use a little more softening.
One of the things that happened in front of, we did the landscape in front of Wells Fargo because it was required in the approvals for Heights crossing, and by the time you build the cutout in the sidewalk to water, it was like 3 feet. Then under the code, we ended up having to put another 4 feet past it, so they ended up being like 7 feet wide. It was a little bit too much concrete, but that was the only way you could actually get the tree in there.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about more trees necessarily. Maybe there are planters there. I mean, I've seen this
Right,
done
kind
in
of a
plazas.
mid-story breakup, not just
Yeah.
necessarily, I think we
Exactly.
have a fair amount of trees,
Yeah.
and, so,
Yeah, I'm not advocating for more trees, I'm just just a little bit more breakup of the hardscape.
okay.
I would say, sort of to Alex's point, that this looks very, doesn't look contemporary. If your building's going to go contemporary, this looks very traditional. And so like, you know, grasses and things like that like basically would allude to the fact that it was a modern sort of landscape. I mean, the one park that comes to mind is Brooklyn Bridge Park. You know, and like the grasses and the different, you know, they even changed the heights and it did some really fun things. And it did it in a very modern
And don't
way.
require as much.
Yeah, it doesn't require maintenance.
Kate, my challenge to you guys would be that this park, it could, well, on the same lines, could go in anywhere in Darien or any place in any town. And I'd love you guys to come back, like they did in this presentation, with a story of this moment you're creating and why you're creating it and how it's being created, and have it be different than any other moment you've created, that Matt's created, and be specific to this area.
Okay.
Love a flagpole. Can't show me enough American flags, great. Statues, whimsical, fun, lean into the modern. Alex threw out some ideas of cool steps across the street instead, like, it's atypical.
Yeah. Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
On behalf of Jeremy, I need to ask the question if there is any thought being put into the blank wall of Palmer's that's right at the corner where your parking lot is, when you're looking with a, you know, with a wall that at the ivy came down, there's this big blank.
We're trying to hide it as much as we can.
Right, so is that
But more importantly,
hiding with landscaping, or is it a mural, or is that something that's
I
been
think the
Palmer's?
landscaping, actually, if you look back, I think the landscaping covers it, but we also got the broken pipes and,
There's a big,
you know, the
beautiful
PVC
broken
pipe
in the middle,
looks like
yeah,
cactus.
yeah.
So that's either gotta be,
Yeah, I think that was
boxed
beefed
out
up, we
or
could look at
something.
it some more in detail.
Right, so that was, because it's big.
One other comment about this plaza, you know, I think this would be a great place, people could have lunch, there's so many like lunch places nearby, but I don't know that people wanna sit and like look at the train tracks. You know, I think having the benches maybe more more enclosed, more shielded,
Right. Well,
and
there are
it's
17 benches scattered actually throughout the site, and although I think it's easy to see the ones that are on the road, there are more than half of them that are, they're interior actually, so.
yeah. I just think there's a lot of traffic there and people would probably feel more
Exposed.
comfortable further from the road, you know. It's obviously much smaller, but Madison Square Park, I used to have lunch there all the time when I was working in the city. Everyone's going into the park,
Yeah,
to kind of be away from the street.
And we're not a fan of bollards. John knows this.
No, we do.
So, let's not think after the fact that we need bollards here for safety. Let's
Usually require three.
put
Oh,
that out
because
ahead of
of the
time.
benches,
Yes, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, like even if, I mean, you could flip those benches and have, or turn them 90 degrees, right?
Well, I was
And-
gonna say the bench types too, like you could actually make the benches could be their own, a
Yeah.
different material, right? It's a very traditional bench for a,
Yeah.
like, are you purposely doing that because you wanna carry that look through all of types,
well,
or are you gonna break
it's
out?
It's the exact same benches that we're using.
Is that good or bad though? I don't know, there should be a story behind that, like,
They're, I can tell you they're expensive, that's for sure.
but Kate, that should be part of you guys' story, like
Yeah.
why those benches, why those the lamps you guys should, are very traditional, light poles there.
Yeah, well, I think the
What's
lamps
the argument?
carry through all the projects on the
Okay, is that part of the story then? Okay, so you're gonna have that and then juxtaposed with a very contemporary building, that's,
Because they carry through, we
Well,
did
the
what
Federal's a
Federal
little
did.
different, the
But it's-
lamps are a little different. I don't think you guys like the Federal lamps, if I remember right.
the bollards. We
No.
Well, you didn't like the bollards, yeah.
No, but they're.
We don't like bollards anywhere. I think that's the theme that we go by.
Nobody does.
But I think he's talking about the streetlights.
The streetlights, I can't remember what I thought they were traditional streetlights there as well. But I don't know, yeah, it feels like again, it's just, I don't, like there's, you guys are going through the motion of the landscape plan without, you use the word intentionality?
Yeah, I mean, there's a great opportunity here to have some really, going back to your word, John, building something iconic. You got
That's
space.
gonna be my legacy.
Yeah.
It's gotta be something.
I wrote it down. But you've got room, you've got space to do it. Just, loosen up a little bit.
I mean, it could also be things like you can touch and feel and do, like if you're a kid and you're walking through the park and there's chimes, or there's, you know, something like a twirl, or like,
I like that.
you know, like something that's like fun and, you know, that kids wanna go and.
Kids like to climb stuff.
For sure. Yeah, or like, yeah. Look at Brooklyn Bridge Park, that's a perfect example.
I think also looking at this with the connection to Palmer's, it's great there's gonna be pedestrian sidewalks. It just emphasizes that you guys need to think about the design from all, like, 360 of the building. Cause there's been a lot about, this is the Heights Road elevation, but when you're in the park, when you're walking down from Darien Commons, you're gonna be seeing, you know, what's, you've been calling the parking lot elevation, you know, that's, you don't wanna design it as just the back of the building, that's an important elevation that will be visible. So I think you just need to be thoughtful when you're studying the massing and fenestration.
Like that. I have one final comment. I believe, John, you're gonna talk to planning and zoning about this more, but there's room, and that median, the tree median on the left side, along where the post office is, can be greater, a heavier median. Right now, like, it looks like it's proposed like a foot or two, and we walked the site, there's room for a 5-foot median there, so something substantial.
Matt worked on it, and
If you can get, yeah.
I don't,
Is wide
Makes
as
a
you,
huge difference.
Matt worked on it
Might
to
not even
make
need
sure that
trees.
trees could fit, and I'm
Where-
not sure if he just widened it where every tree is, but he,
I think that was what his intention was, he was just gonna do a little enlargement, you can't really, this doesn't really see, because I think he was gonna do a triangle enlargement around each tree so that it hit the parking spaces and not interfere with the parking spaces.
I mean, that's a very important median, and like, so that detailing, so on your next presentation needs to be blown out, like, please, so we can understand that. Cause otherwise, you literally have parking, little tree, parking, tree, little tree, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It looks like, yeah, it looks like a tree
he
farm.
was
Yeah.
figuring out
Yeah.
how to basically build around the tree,
Yeah.
so that,
I just need to blow.
right, if you look at it, it sort of intersects each one of those parking places.
Right, that was the
And that's where
intent.
he was gonna build some kind of a planter or something.
Okay,
So maybe we just need to blow it up so that you
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah.
No.
That'd be great.
okay. So, any other questions? I wanna make sure you guys don't leave here with like,
Scratching your head.
it's right, yeah, I wanna make sure we've super clear, good ideas, it's like, this is a time to collaborate. Like, Kate, anything from you, like?
No, I mean, I got it. I mean, I think there was a lot of repetition in projects around the area, and if we're gonna mix it up and make this modern, then the landscaping needs to reflect that as well. So I heard that loud and clear.
Cool.
We appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, is there any way, let's say we go back to the drawing boards a little bit, is there any way to have, I don't know, an informal or something, or, because you only meet once a month, I think, are you done for the year after this?
Yep, we have December,
This is your last
December
one.
16th, it's early though. We're here,
December 16th?
we're early, yeah, we're a week early because of the
Okay.
holidays.
So that's better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all.
As I,
That's like 3 weeks away, we can put together some other things.
I said to John and Phil, but I'll say it on record too, is you're always welcome to come here and do an informal collaboration with us. Come with ideas and inspiration. It doesn't have to be once you've flushed out design. Again, we'd encourage it early on before you have to waste time or money just so we can brainstorm together. I mean, you have a panel of experts here, and actually we kind of did the math of what it would cost to get these people in a room, to pay this group of people to give you advice, and you're well over $5,000 an hour.
Oh.
So, I mean, so it's a great opportunity. Excluding myself, I'm just here to boss them around, so I'm gonna show up. But, so,
Okay.
I wanna make sure you guys know, please come to collaborate that.
You would have the highest hour.
That's right, I'm 6,000 alone, so I can count myself in that.
In between meetings?
All right, guys, we're gonna move on, thank you very much for your time. We're gonna vote, we have, for number 3 agenda item, we're gonna have a quick application updates. Hervé, can you give us a review of the administrative certificates that have been issued
Yeah,
since
there's
our last meeting?
only one was the milkshake factory, if I remember correctly, so there was just some upgrade on some revisions which they presented here, and then we discussed the certificate. So no surprise there.
Okay.
The calendar I distributed. The calendar is
The
distributed.
calendar, yes. Moving on from that, I'm not gonna vote on other business because it's 9:30 at night, but I want you guys to know that I did hand you all a physical copy of the calendar.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's great, perfect, thank you.
Put in your calendars, the most important thing for the ARB is your attendance, your collaboration, right? Being here at these meetings, this is what matters most, these attendances. I almost don't even care if you review the materials at a time, just get here so we can collaborate, that's the big thing, right?
With regard to the schedule, you gave me the heads up of taking notes. Does everybody know what date they're taking
their
Are you gonna issue that?
I will issue that, I'll send you a separate thing when I go through it. I think we're about to get one new member on the board, and we're hoping she may be in attendance here tonight if we can push stuff through, but once I get that, I will dictate a new schedule. But I think we have you, Rebecca, and then after that is, there's someone up, Kate, it's you. No, you just went.
You told me I'm doing it next month.
Yeah,
December.
then Kate, then you, and then starts over again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dave, you do it January?
January.
He's January, you're the first on no, you're last. Yeah, and then I think it comes to you. You come, H is like our first one, or J.
Liz, I'm sorry to interrupt you. At the end of the presentation from the Vacaros, was there a official statement?
Unfavorable report.
It's still unfavorable. It's
Yeah,
not,
I
it's
mean,
not
as
like
it's yeah.
postpone and resubmission, we're gonna still call it unfavorable report.
I think that it's important to be clear and let them know where, for planning and zoning purposes, where they are, so we're gonna leave it as unfavorable.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that.
I wanna ask you guys about, Christmas, but I'll do that after, I'll let Channel 79 go home. Minutes approval, all in favor?
Yes.
Anyone, no? Okay, beautiful, I will sign those now. There's a few typos here on this survey that didn't go through, but I can,
Still typos. They were long minutes.
They were long minutes, I know there's a lot of details that I only wanted to get in there, which I appreciate. It is 9:32 p.m., I'm going to adjourn our meeting for the evening, thanks guys, thanks Channel 79. Christmas, by the way, I think it's so, isn't the feel that Christmas is so difficult for us to ever get out? It's hard enough just to get here.
Yeah.
Are you guys okay? Like did we do it, I'll bring some champagne again, or like, some cider, a couple cookies?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say, we could do January.
And do it,
I can make going out work.
Doing New Year's.
Let's do January.
do you want me to propose it, go, like, I will just like pick it, I'll run a couple dates by you guys, and you guys can come, you can't, I know it's a pain to get there, but
Dry January.
I think if we do get together, we have a lot of fun together.
No
Like,
dry.
we're a bunch of
Yeah, I
nerds
think
that
that
could
would
talk
be
shop,
fun.
alright,
Dryish.
yeah.
You can still bring champagne to the
Okay,
next
I will
meeting,
bring something
don't
Christmas,
shy
and I
away.
will maybe throw out a date. Also, if things work out, Jamie Stevenson's in, do you guys all know Jamie here? Jamie was our first selectman for 10 years, one of the best leaders Darian's ever seen. And in her retirement, she is considering joining the ARB.